Take two. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. This is the Khan Show. This is all about you guys, man. We've been speaking all week. We've been talking all week about our clubs and various other clubs. But it's all about you, man. Come and talk about what you want to speak about. Your club, your player, your agenda, your opinion, your narrative. Twist it how you want. Tell us how you feel. Are you under pressure? Are you relieved? What a magnificent start to the weekend. Some amazing, cracking games all over the place, man. BILAL's just coming breathing heavily. We're going to ask him why. Do you know what I mean? I was doing a watch along today, watching my beloved Liverpool. Just I don't know. I don't know how I feel about my Liverpool. You know, we want to see a reaction and why. Yeah, they showed a reaction, but we want to get your opinion. Man City, showing that they like giving head starts these days, man. They're like giving head starts. They're a lot of work. And Man United, how can we forget Man United? That's 2 games in a row they've won. They ain't won 2 games in a row for hell of time. People, the link has been pinned in the chat. Don't forget. New callers and channel members get priority onto the calls. Come and speak to us. Blue Chip will be joining us very, very shortly. It's going to be me, BILAL, and Blue Chip in the building. We've got a lovely panel to talk about. So much variety, so much topics to talk about. I put the wrong link in. Okay. But while I correct that, BILAL, talk to us, my friend. How are you feeling?
Yeah, listen, man, my heart has just been pumping for the last 30 minutes or so. Like, I can't remember what minute Gabriel made his mistake. That Mitrovic, that dog. You know when you know the game's about to just go nuts. I saw the Arsenal fans just giving it to Mitrovic after I think he fell on the floor a few times and started riding up the crowd. It started getting a proper London, derby kind of feel. Even though it's Fulham, it's not a derby at all. But Mitrovic made that game, he brought it to life. And I think those sort of things with the fans were getting up for it. Gabriel ends up making a weird mistake, just holds onto the ball a bit too long. Mitrovic, you can't give him that opportunity, man. That guy's a dog, solid, honestly solid. And today watching Fulham, you're looking at them and have to say, if you're a Fulham fan and your start to the season, you're seeing your performances, you've got to be confident now that you're going to stay in the Premier League. Really, with Leno as well as a goalkeeper, the team's looking really, really good. The defense today of Fulham, so tight in the middle, the back, everything was amazing. So I'll give them credit because Arsenal had to work for that win. They dominated the ball, yes, but yeah, I have to give Fulham credit because I think that was the toughest game of the season, definitely from an Arsenal perspective. But yeah, from an Arsenal perspective again, watching Gabriel in the end redeem himself, man, and seeing him how overcome he was with emotion. That's exactly what you want to see. So big him up in the end. And I have to big up most of them. I think the whole team pretty much played well. Martin Odegaard again showing that, he might not be the loud shouting captain, but on the ball, on the pitch, he's starting to come alive. He's starting to give Arsenal,
No. It's cool. You said that because I was thinking, I actually tweeted. I watched Odegaard carefully today, and I've always wanted. I mean, you see his talent, you see his touch, you see his vision, you see his control, and I was just wondering, what's caused Arteta to make him captain this season? What's the X factor about him that he's become captain amongst so many other great players, senior players as well, maybe possibly as well. But he's got that little bite in him. I'd see him prompting, and I was probably trying to keep a close eye on him. I think he's one of your most important players without a shadow of a doubt.
100%.
He is so key. The way he presses, the way he sets the tempo, and his passing. Wow, man! It's just, I jokingly said, you can imagine. I don't even know, like if Mesut Ozil was one of his boyhood heroes, but you can imagine him being an absolute avid watcher of Mesut Ozil because this guy's weight of pass and choice of pass, it's so good, right?
Outside corners, hitting it across the park, getting it out wide, little intricate 1-2s. He's got literally kind of every pass in his locker. And one thing that he has that, for me, be honest, Ozil didn't have is this work rate, this determination. When there was one counter attack. Cabano had it on the wing, and Odegaard was the only guy who had to get all the way back and track him, and forced Cabano into a mistake where Cabano, if he slides it across, I think was it Pereira in the box or another Fulham player, it's a goal. You know, so Odegaard also, on top of his quality, on top of everything he's offering, his work rate. I think if I want to know his running stats, if anyone knows, please put it in the comments, because I feel like he runs the most in the team when I watch him play. If I'm being
Odegaard,
totally
yeah,
honest. Yeah, Odegaard. Honestly,
yeah. We as soon as they conceded the first goal, I was in a WhatsApp group with a couple of mates, and they were like, "This is the test for Arsenal in terms of
yeah,
mentality-wise, in terms of let's see what their credentials are."
Mhm.
They passed it with flying colours, man. Okay, they get two lucky goals, but how many times have we spoken about Arsenal trying to walk it in all the time? You don't
Yeah,
always have to score the perfect goal. Do
hundred
you know what I
percent,
mean?
hundred
So they
percent.
deserve that. They put the effort in. It was quite a comeback. And as you're right, Fulham don't make it easy. Like ask us, innit?
Yeah,
Fulham ain't no soft touch, bro. So Fulham ain't
Mhm.
soft touch. And the way that Marco Silva's got them operating from a tactical point of view, and now he's slowly bringing in a couple of players still
yeah,
to just beef it up. Today Diop came on. He's got that Kevin
yeah.
Mbapo,
Mbabu. Yeah,
Mbabu. So he's
Mhm.
trying to create a bit of competition. It's going to be hard. We know they're going to die down later on in the season,
Mm.
but once they're fresh and energized, it's all about getting 3 points against them. So yeah, man, big up Arsenal, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Brighton going strong as well. That's what, 10 points they're on now, is it?
Graham Potter. Listen, we have to speak on it, man. This guy is a top coach. I've been screaming his name for what? Since actually, I've been screaming his name since he beat Arsenal with Östersunds. You know, he came in the Europa League one time, came to the Emirates and actually beat Arsenal. Since then, I've been keeping an eye on him. Went to Swansea, and then ends up at Brighton, and you see his progress as a coach. It's fantastic to see what he's doing. And this game, Brighton Leeds, was two managers coming with kind of a similar philosophy, and to see Brighton still come out on top, I think it just shows what they're doing. I think Pascal Gross was the one who scored in the end. So
We were
yeah,
speaking about him
Mhm.
in the FPL show. Like,
Exactly.
they've got few players that you don't know whether you want to just give them a
Mhm.
go, like, but they're churning out points, and this is without Basuma,
Mhm.
Dan Burns,
Cucurella.
Cucurella,
Mhm.
forward Mopai. This guy
Yeah,
is doing serious bits, man.
and it's not just Potter is a great coach, and you have to big up the whole structure at Brighton with the Tony Bloom in charge, as the owner, and you see what they've done in the past with us, and now with Newcastle, you see the sporting director Dan Ashworth, he was formerly at
Key,
Brighton,
key.
exactly, and you're seeing exactly what Brighton have been able to do. So I'm scared of Newcastle now. Imagine what Newcastle are going to be doing with that kind of scouting knowledge with the money on top. So yeah, that's another topic. But yeah, honestly, Brighton, you got to big them up. Leeds still, you win again. You will go away from home to Brighton. It can happen. You lose 1-0. You didn't get humiliated. It is what it is. You just move on. But yeah, big up Brighton again. Caicedo as well. I don't know. It's been linked to Liverpool in
Absolutely has,
recent
yeah.
days. Someone said
Absolutely
he's on
has.
£3,000 a week. I don't know if that's true, but yeah,
Yep, yep.
put that offer in. You could get him. He's a very good player.
Exactly. I mean, he's been brought in to sort of take over Basuma, and I love the way they've done it. They've sort of let him have a kind of season to just sort of simmer down and get used to the Premier League last season, and
Mhm.
now he's making huge strides. Again, Brentford pick up a. I don't know if it was a deserved draw. I haven't read any reports. I don't know what people are saying. People are saying Everton bottled
Yeah,
it. Everton desperate for a win. Desperate for
yeah,
a win. Brentford just plodding along nicely as well, right?
yeah.
Where are Everton gonna? How do you see this?
I tipped Everton to go down this season, to be honest, and I
Mm,
don't really think I'm changing my opinion. For example, Iwobi for me is a player who I do say his natural position has always been as a left centre mid. Yeah, but in a 4-3-3, I'm not too convinced, even though his performances have been better for Everton in this position, whether he's the kind of guy you want to rely on all season in the midfield. Onana, though, has added something different. And then Lampard on top as a manager, I'm not the biggest fan. I'm going to keep
mm.
it real. So especially losing Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin's not about. It's
Well,
tough.
literally, they haven't got a striker, Bilal.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like, what's going on with this formation? Like,
Is it a 3-4-3?
yeah,
Gordon
well,
getting a
then,
goal
yeah,
today.
they're looking to play McNeil up front with Gordon and Gray behind. You know, I think the defense might keep them in it. I mean, I know they got Holgate right there right now because that what was his name who could pick up the horrible injury?
The rough guy. What's his name? I always forget his name.
I always forget his name as well. It's gone
I've
slip
called
from
it.
my head. But Cody and Tarkowski is shrewd buys that may keep them up because that's what they're dealing with. They're dealing with a straight relegation battle and trying to stay up. I just don't know how they're going to score goals, man. I literally don't know how they're going to score goals. I know they've tried to beef it up with Onana. Was it you who brought him in?
Yeah, I brought him in for 1 week on my FPL and hooked him out the next. It is what it
you're
is.
a mad one. You're a mad one. But you thought, let me try something, innit?
Godfrey's the guy.
Godfrey, that's the one.
Exactly.
That's right.
Dirty guy, man. I'll be honest. I'm not a fan at all. Godfrey.
How comes? History?
Not even
Arsenal players history there something?
No, I just watch him all the time, and it's just making crazy challenges. Yes, there was one game against Arsenal. He stamped on Tomiyasu's face. That was one. But then I'm watching him again and again. And even how he got injured recently, I think he was trying to take out Kai Havertz and ends up injuring himself. So for me, yeah, Godfrey is someone who hopefully he calms down. I think someone just needs to tell him to calm down. Definitely has talent, but just calm down, and maybe you won't pick up these weird injuries, because when you're so aggressive, it's gonna come back around sometimes. You know what I mean? So just
100%, 100%, and you know, obviously he suffered as a result. But Chelsea, man,
winning
2-1
10
victories. Listen, what I keep saying, man, it's at this stage of the season, it's all about getting through, man. Leicester City are in proper dire straits, though, isn't it?
Brendan needs to go at this point. I think it's too much. The damage.
Walk or go? Because will he get sacked?
He continues. He probably will get sacked, because I don't see how he.
What's their options, bro? They're taking all his players away from him. What's his option, man? What can he do? Look at that team.
Yeah, he could walk, save his reputation a little bit, because when Leicester were actually doing really well under him, you could see Brendan Rodgers' football. He's a good coach. 100% he's a good coach. But now it's just run its course. And now with the financial problems at Leicester, they're selling for Fofana. The defense, the investment in the team doesn't seem like it's going to happen, even with the sales of Fofana. Tielemans, we don't know what's going to happen. It looks like I don't think anyone's really going to come in for him in the next few days. I don't think. Unless Leicester just say, okay, we'll take 20 million, 25 million. I don't see that happening. You look at that team now, it's dangerous. If it continues this way, don't be surprised they could be in a relegation battle. Because the way they play football,
I believe you. I'm firmly of the belief that they are in trouble. Out of the so-called teams that are established in the Premier League, you know, no one would have thought that they're going to be in a relegation battle. I think them and Everton are the two candidates that will be low-key looking over their back. Like 100%. They need to be worried. I mean, obviously, we don't know if the likes of tomorrow we'll have a more indication of what Forest are about, because they've got Spurs at home, which is going to be very difficult for them to see if they've got anything about them to stay up. But my God, the studio is packed. I knew today's call-in's going to be on fire.
Today, man.
I knew the call-in's going to be on fire. There's about 12 people already in the studio waiting to come in. We're actually just waiting for Blue Chip to enter the building as well before we start. But I guess we might as well start bringing in the callers. People, don't forget, don't get impatient with me. Don't get angry with me. Ain't nothing personal. I tried to give everyone a go and a chance to speak, but it's got to be new callers or channel members who get priority. New callers or channel members. And I hope Bilal's put the link in the description to become a channel member if you want priority and if you're a new caller. But everyone else has a chance as well. No problem. We're going to try to give everyone a crack. There's nearly 160 of you in here already. Don't forget to hit that like button so we can get it spread. We can spread the word and everyone can have a platform to speak about their team, their opinion. Arsenal title rivals. Man City, Haaland off to a flying start.
We didn't speak about them.
So much to talk about. Man United, 2 wins in a row. So much to talk about. I'm gonna invite Jamie on first. Jamie's channel member as well. Where is he? There he
Shall I bring
is.
him
Got
in?
him. Got him. I got him. I got him. Found him. Jamie, welcome to the stream, my brother. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are, just to get that out of the way. Bilal, I've never made your acquaintance personally, but it's nice to meet you on the stream for the first time. I just want to say congratulations to your boys. I know from previous callings I've paid attention that you're an Arsenal fan. So congratulations to you and your boys' first position in the Premier League table. That's nothing to scoff at, even 4 games in. Well deserved. I watched the end of the game today. I came back from the game that I coached at, our first preseason scrimmage for the high school team where I coach in Somerville, Massachusetts, in the United States. We ended up winning 5-4, but my synopsis of the game was anytime you give up 4 goals, it's not a positive result.
Yeah.
And so to juxtapose that with your boys watching the end of the game, I just thought, okay, this is a real test now for Arsenal to see, all right, what are they made of? And there was no shift. There was no change. The objective didn't change. And so I think there has to be massive respect given to not only Mikel Arteta, but also the squad that he's built up at that club and the relationships that he's built. I personally was talking to one of my good friends who's an Arsenal fan at the beginning of the season, and I mentioned to him, the All or Nothing series comes out the day before you have the Friday kickoff versus Crystal Palace. Isn't this a little bit of a setup, like, kind of joking with him, like classic Arsenal, it's going to come out and then you guys are going to lose 2-0 or 2-1 to Crystal Palace. And, there's always that rhetoric and that joking banter about Arsenal of, okay, but let's get serious. When the going gets tough, they'll eventually fold. And I feel like today is just the perfect encapsulation of this Arsenal team at this point in the season, from what I've seen, not disregarding last year, but encompassing last year with right now, they look to be at the most positive point that they could possibly be at in the regeneration, in the project that Mikel Arteta has built. And I just feel like it's a scary prospect, but also it's a positive prospect for the Premier League. Because I remember watching that game versus City at the Emirates, where I believe Mikel Arteta had COVID, and it was Albert AirPods on the side. I think that you guys had been winning 1-0, and then it changed to 2-1 for the final time result with that lucky Rodri goal. It felt lucky at the end. And in that moment, I thought, part of me was thinking, it's classic Arsenal. But then to get to this point now, where 4 wins from 4 in the 2022-2023 Premier League season, I feel like Arsenal have to be given their respect. Mikel Arteta has to be given his respect. I'll hold my hand up and say I was wrong about that gaffer over there. He's done a job, especially knowing the behind the scenes, having to realistically wait months, years to be able to say, okay, now I've given my due diligence. I can push Aubameyang out. I can push Mesut Ozil out. I can be the guy who now has enough credibility to do this. I think it's a fantastic job, and I'm fearful of Arsenal, respectfully fearful. I can't wait to play them, but at the same time, their patterns of play and the things that they get into, they're consistent.
Bilal,
I echo a lot of the things that you've said. Arsenal today, I think even last season, it reminded me of the game against Wolves that Arsenal actually played. If you guys remember that game, Arteta rolled the dice in that game, brought on another attacker, left the 3 defenders on, went for it, actually got the win in the end. And today was a similar performance. Another thing about like the all or nothing, and you see the development of these players. You forget sometimes how young they are. Some of the conversations they have between themselves as well, you actually just forget these guys are actually kind of kids. And Arteta felt like a teacher and almost like a father in that kind of documentary. That's what it appeared like to me. And you look at the guys like Nketiah as well, coming off the bench. I know he didn't score, but you can see his
made an impact.
Development. You can see, the size of him. He's holding down the ball. He's causing problems. He just lacked the finish today. And you just see the squad, the players right now, even when they make a mistake, like Gabriel did, like Saliba did the other day, scoring her own goal. A lot of the time, people like Arsenal fans like to say, like we cause our own downfall. A lot of the time, Arsenal cause their own problems. Like the goals we concede most of the time, especially at home, seem to be really stupid, especially against these, maybe inferior teams. But what's happened now? You've got that fight, you've got that comeback, you've got that spirit, you've got that belief, and I think that comes from the manager, and it comes from the fans as well. I see the fans are energetic. I see everyone's in unison. Even if you're down, even the chips are down, everyone's together, and that's something I feel like Liverpool have always had. But Arsenal, it's been a club where people have been divided, confused, don't really know which direction the team's going in. So yeah, it looks like it's coming together now.
That's a
I
huge
do
shift
think so.
I've perceived as well in the fans at the Emirates. From when they went down today, there wasn't the typical what I had seen from the last 4 or 5 years of the fans sort of getting on the players' backs. It was straight back to it. Let's go, Arsenal. Let's get our bearings. Let's go get another goal, instead of that toxicity that you've mentioned before. So clearly, the pedigree of Mikel Arteta has not only permeated and gone throughout the entire squad, it's changed the fan base seemingly as well.
Yeah, 100%. The only thing I would say, though, as a criticism for Arsenal is that this next few days in the transfer window, we've got to start, especially a midfielder. I need to see one coming in, because as you see today, Partey's out already. You're left with Elneny and Xhaka. Zinchenko is out. Fair enough. It's a little bit of it's a minor knock from what
I was going to say, it was an injured. Yeah, it was injured.
Yeah, just a
Zinchenko.
precaution. They said it was a precaution. They didn't want to really risk him. But I think that, for me, Arsenal is saying, David Ornstein said Pedro Neto was the number one target. For me, I say forget Pedro Neto. I love him. I know he's an Arsenal fan, blah, blah, blah. I say go all out for Ruben Neves. I say you need a midfielder. Go and spend the big money on someone who can play as a 6, can play in a double pivot, and got the physical presence as well to play in the Premier League. I think that's what we need now. And if I don't see that come in, to be honest, I can see Arsenal having those shaky moments a lot,
Yeah,
especially against these kind of teams, man. Yeah.
If you look through your squad, that's the only area that you can say there's not that depth where you can see elsewhere. Okay, you can see on the wings. Excuse me. So you got Saka and Martinelli, and I don't think you got much underneath.
Yeah,
especially with Pepe gone as well.
Yeah, the old bit.
Yeah, Smith Rowe is inverted.
Yeah,
but sort of that pace, running in behind element of Martinelli and Saka, for sure. Smith Rowe is a good option, actually. I forget, but with Pepe going, that's one area that you probably need to strengthen. But obviously, the one that you mentioned is significant.
I think that's a more
the engine
concerning
room
area. Yeah,
the engine room. Sorry, Xhaka has been good. I used to tell people like Xhaka, if you can fix his head, he's a good player. How you fix his head? Don't ask me. I don't know how you fix that guy's head. He don't know. His family don't know. His friends don't know. Nobody knows. Yeah, nobody knows how you fix his head. But if you can, and it seems like Arteta may have.
I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, he may have. The guy's got technique. The guy's got strength. And he is a leader. He's a mental leader. There's different types of leader. He's the opposite of Xhaka. Odegaard.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is a mental leader, where Odegaard is like sort of lead by example and quiet, and this guy's loud and abrasive in your face. But it's definitely an area that you need to strengthen, man. 100% in midfield, in the engine room. Ruben Neves is a good shout. I believe Liverpool are in for him as well. So I don't know if we go for him, you won't stand a chance. I mean, I just
that bidding war. Apparently priced Arsenal out. I heard the journalist say Arsenal actually did ask about Neves. I think they're asking for too much money. I remember Bruno Lage even said 100 million. I think it's because of Declan Rice. Honestly, I think this Declan Rice.
They don't need to sell him. They're in a very, very strong position, aren't they? Like,
yeah,
they don't need to sell him.
From what I've read as well, Wolves fans will say they don't need to sell. But from what I've heard with the owner and the Chinese stuff going on there, like, it could be a situation where they could have to sell. And if you get Jorge or George Mendes, sorry, not Jorge, George Mendes involved as well, he'll be looking to make a commission on a lot of these transfers. And it's a bit of a favor he does with Wolves. Like, I'll bring you players for a certain price. Fabio, what's that kid that came in? Fabio Silva, the striker?
Fabio Silva, yeah. He's gone out again,
on loan. It's this kind of weird wheeling and dealing that he does. So I don't know the situation with Wolves. If you can talk to Mendes, you can probably get a deal done.
For deal done, you're right. If you've got a relationship with Mendes on any level, you've done business with him before, then he's the type of guy, talk to me. Big up Jezza, who's just become a YouTube member. Big up yourself, Jezza. I can see you in the studio. We're getting you on very soon as well, my friend. People are saying about this point. What's your take on this, Jamie? People are saying, wait till Arsenal play the big boys. They're going nowhere but fourth at best. So this notion that Arsenal's fixtures have been light work, so to speak.
Well, let's judge them on what they've had in front of them. And let's also judge the big boys on what they've had in front of them. And you don't see any other teams with 4 wins and 0 losses and 0 draws, except Arsenal in the table. The table speaks for itself. So I don't think that there's any ounce of being able to take away from what Arsenal has done at this point. But also, I do hear and understand the argument. I am eager to play Arsenal to get a litmus test of what they are against Liverpool. I'm eager to see them play against Manchester City. Do I think that they'll have any problems versus the bigger teams? Absolutely, yes, because they won't be able to play with the confidence that they can against a Fulham and the other sides that they've come up against. Because when you're playing against top class quality players, in the back of your mind, you always have the threat of knowing, if I make a mistake here, they can go down the other way in 10 seconds and score a goal, which against some of the other sides they played. Okay, obviously with Crystal Palace, they have some deadly players up front like Wilfried Zaha, but they managed to deal with that. And so for Arsenal, I think it's really going to be a situation of where last season, and maybe Bilal can speak to this, I feel like last season, Arsenal won games that they should have won, and maybe even won games that they shouldn't have won. I remember the week where they beat Chelsea and Manchester United in a short space of time, and I thought, wow, I'm really impressed here. And then they would go and drop points where if they had maybe even just drawn instead of taking L's, they would have been in a 4th position Champions League spot. And so for Arsenal, I don't want to big them up too much to the point where then I have to go retract and say, oh, I bigged up this team. And then at the end of the year, I'm saying, well, actually, no, really, it's these things I thought before. No, I'm not a hypocrite. I think Arsenal's main target this year will be one of 2 things, either a 4th position, 4th or 3rd, potentially even 2nd. I'm going to give them respect and say, you never know what could happen in this Premier League. But also the other route that they could take for a positive objective would be winning the Europa League. Those 2 things, I'm going to hold them and say, if they don't get one of those 2 things to play Champions League football the next year, I will not consider it a success. Because, okay, you can win the League Cup, you can win the FA Cup, and that is great for the trophy cabinet, and I will always count trophies as a positive. But for a club of this magnitude and the project and ambition that they have, they need that Champions League to not only give them the money to sign the players, but also have the respect of saying, we're in the Champions League. There are 16 other teams in this league that don't have the privilege to say that. We are the Arsenal. We are a club that demands respect. And so I'll go back to what I just said. Win the games that you should, and don't lose the games that you shouldn't, and take points from Big 6 games and draws. If they do those things, I think that it will be a successful season, and they'll either have won the Europa League or finished in the top 4.
Bilal, I haven't actually asked you, what is a successful season for you guys? If Jamie's saying that it's all about sort of top 4 or winning the Europa League, and anything else, like one or the other, or at least one, basically. Otherwise, it's not a success, even if you won a trophy.
Yeah, no, for me, this season, to class it as a success for me, it has to be a top 4 finish. Like, Arsenal need to get back in the top 4. You're not going to just jump from 8th, 5th. Obviously, you shouldn't really finish 8th anyway, but then 8th, 5th, and then jump to a title. No, Arsenal need to finish in the top 4. For me, if Arsenal finish 7th, let's say, and won the Europa League, for me, I wouldn't class that as a successful season, even if they managed to make it back into the Champions League. For me, the real sign of progression is just making it back into the top 4. And Jamie made a great point. I do want to see Arsenal against the big boys. When I'm talking big boys, I'm guessing we're talking Man City and Liverpool. I'm not classing anyone else as big boys in this league. So I want to see how Arsenal do in those games against Man City and Liverpool at home. You know, at home, it hasn't been great as well, and away from home. So how many points, if they can pick up a couple points there, it's going to be an improvement to what, it's been the case over the past, couple of years, I guess. So, yeah, 100%.
Fair enough. Jamie, thanks very much for calling in, my friend. Hope to catch you real soon. We're going to keep it moving, man. We've got a packed studio today. People waiting to jump in, but always a pleasure speaking to you, my boy. Take care.
I'll see everyone.
Nice one.
To meet you, man.
Take care, man. Yeah, man, we're going to get a lot of Arsenal love, man. Top of the table, 4 wins out of 4. You just can't go wrong at the moment. I'm going to bring in the next caller. We've got Avinash waiting to come in. Yes, Avinash, how are you, my brother?
Hi, Grizz. I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Much better than last week.
again.
Still could be better. Personally, I'm not feeling too well in terms of my health, but Liverpool put a smile on my face and eased any pain that I would have had to enjoy even more. But how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Same. I think it's been a tough week for all of us. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that you're not feeling well. Hopefully that
No,
makes you feel a little bit better. And yeah, I'm
absolutely,
sure in the coming days you'll have more reasons to smile and
absolutely,
get
absolutely.
even better. And you can start supporting the team. I mean, we've been supporting the team anyway, but start
Enjoying it more, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe enjoying it more. Did you watch the game today?
Yeah, I did. So yeah, I mean, what can I say? It was I think it was expected in a way. Look, there've been a lot of things have been said in this week. The players have had their mentality questioned, whether they can even be bothered, whether they're committed. They're not used to this. It's a bit like Manchester United last week, and you know how they raised themselves for the game against us. But I'd say United players are used to that because they've had that all last season and even before that. But our players aren't used to it. They aren't used to being called out and the mentality being questioned is something which has never happened before because obviously they've not given us a reason to do that. So yeah, I knew some team was going to get a real drubbing, and I think I felt really sorry for Bournemouth. I must say, I think they caught at the worst possible time because yeah, as soon as that game started, it was like a whirlwind, a tornado. Call it what you like. Just pass through, and they just couldn't live with it. To a man, every single player had a point to prove on that pitch today. The pressing was insane. It was the term that came to mind was feral. The way they absolutely were all over them. I could see them. I could see the Bournemouth players gasping for breath. They just could not live with the pressing. And one player I want to point out, and I think this is the good thing, right? I mean, we all see the game from different perspectives. We all have players that we pick out. For me, Fabinho absolutely stood out in that first half. He was back to his best. He's probably one of the players who's had, in terms of the differential between what he can do and what he's been doing, it's probably been the worst in terms of, he's just not showed up at all. And he can do so much more. And today he showed that he is still one of the best DMs in the world, if not the best. He was basically hoovering up everything, like just picking up all the loose balls, driving us forward, passing forward, spinning into space, the lighthouse, the hoover, all those nicknames.
Everything, yeah.
So
everything.
He was basically all of that. And tactically, the one thing that I thought of was, in some ways, the last couple of days has been a victory for the fans. With firstly the midfielder thing, Klopp basically admitting that he was wrong and everybody was right. And when has that happened before? And the other thing I want to say was, all week we've been crying out that tactically something is messed up, that our wingers are too wide. They're just, Bobby Firmino is dropping deep, but then there's nobody in the box. And today the first goal was a perfect example of the Liverpool system, especially when Bobby plays there. Luis Diaz, the goal he scored, that was so Mane-esque. That's the type of goal Mane used to score all the time. At the far post, header. I mean, his heading ability, I wasn't sure how good.
No, I think a lot of us. It took a lot of us by surprise. And you're spot on. You're spot on, especially like we mentioned it. We done a watch along. Me and Avi done a watch along, and the amount of first goals Mane used to score for us of the game. That's so crucial. And this is exactly what Luis Diaz needs to continue to do. Not only when we speak about fast starts, we anticipate, or we've anticipated fast starts, but we haven't seen a fast start from Liverpool for so long. Instead, we may have seen a fast start like Palace, but nothing to show for it. Instead, we go behind. This time, as you said, one of the keys to that was, of course, the early goal, but the form of Fabinho and Henderson. They were so much better, so much, as you said, energized. They look fresh. Of course, stern words must have been said. They know how the media and everyone's questioned their mentality. And you're right. It's not often you question the mentality of Liverpool. You can maybe question other things. Maybe, I don't know, maybe staleness of the same players, maybe age, something. Maybe some of the players' technical ability, like Henderson, Milner, whatever. but you don't question their desire and attitude, and a lot of people have started doing that, and they turned up. They put, as you said, Bournemouth to the sword. It was quite a performance, but you know, someone said like about it's not about proving my point. They said, Grizz, proving your prove your point is either 8 or 9 out of 10, like today, or stinkers. Today was one of those games where he was absolutely fantastic, wasn't he? And Jamie sends in a super chat. Those Harvey and Carvalho goals, huge for confidence. Before the game, you would have hoped that we win and that the young guys get a goal for their confidence, right? Because it's so key for them to feel the vibe of Liverpool, that this is what they've seen in the first 3 games. That's not Liverpool. They're aspiring to play for Liverpool like today. So it was key that they had a good game or feel good vibe about them, right?
Yeah, actually, they've been threatening to do that, I think. What Harvey, especially, he's been so bright in and around the box. He's given us a new dimension in that sense. We've simply not had a midfielder who's of that ilk. I mean, I know Thiago is creative in that, but he plays a bit deeper. He's got a great passing range. He can see passes nobody can. But Harvey playing those little combinations, always looking to move forward, picking up those very interesting spaces and making those runs, getting in and around the box. That was something that we haven't had. And what he really needed was that goal, like you said. I mean, that end product to put a seal on his performances in a way. And he's been threatening to do that, like I said. And today, I mean, you could see with his reaction what it meant to him. And he really, really bleeds for that shirt. You can tell he's a proper Liverpool fan. It's very rare to have that, when you have a boyhood fan of the club. He's not necessarily from the area, but I think he means as much, if not more, to him than any of the local lads that we have, the likes of Trent, Curtis. So he's one of those. So happy for him. And I'm pretty much expecting to see more of that. And,
especially after sort of the start he's had, in terms of he's seen as the, how shall I say, almost like not a guinea pig. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, so he's one of the reasons why Klopp hasn't gone into the transfer market earlier, because he believes in him so much. And then what happens? There's added pressure from the fan base. They're like, oh, you're the reason why Klopp's not going into the fan base. Show me why he's not going into the fan base then.
Yeah.
Bilal, obviously you don't watch every Liverpool game and every minute of every Liverpool game, but just from what you've seen of this kid, what do you think about it? And do you understand the hype?
Harvey for me is Harvey Elliott for me is a dog. He's got the technique, he's got the attributes to make him a top class, right centre mid. Really, he could probably even play in a front three. It reminds me of Odegaard in a lot of ways, but I feel like he's got a bit something more, a bit more fight in him as well. Like, I see something, because he's so young. He's only 18, 19 now.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal he scored today, because I did catch that. I watched the first 10 minutes of that game and I said, today, a long day for Bournemouth. You know how it was going to go for them. But that goal, the way he took it for the second one, fantastic. I feel like he's always got a point to prove. I think someone made a point. I think it was Conroy, I believe. I was watching the RedFellas, and he said that Harvey Elliott, when the cops making all the noise before the game, he turns around and faces them. He's got an extra bit of something in him to want to fight for Liverpool. And I think he's going to be such a big player. Big player for you guys, honestly. So 100%. I see why Klopp, if you got a player like that, you want to develop him, you want to trust
Absolutely.
him, you want to give him the keys. Obviously, we made a lot of comparisons, I think, last week to Wenger and Klopp. And Wenger was that kind of guy as well. When he had a Fabregas in his team, 16 years old, he wanted to give him the trust, even at that young age, because he believed in his talent. Sometimes you wouldn't even want to go in the market when you've got a player like that. But I know Klopp now said, you guys were right, I was wrong, and you guys will go and get someone. But it's not because of Harvey. It's because of the likes of Keita, probably can't stay fit, Thiago, who I think has missed 50% of Liverpool's games. I've seen something like that. So, it's not because of Harvey. Harvey, for me, is going to be a top player for Liverpool for many, many years to come. Just avoid an injury, and it'll be good.
I mean, obviously, was it 5-0 at halftime or 4-0? I mean, I can't remember. It was 5-0 at halftime. What did you want to see at halftime? Did you want to see all 5 changes made at halftime?
Yeah.
Or was you like, no, let's get rhythm, because we're a rhythm team as well? Or did you want to just carry on playing with the same players for a little while? Because I'm not going to lie, I wanted everyone changed. I wanted Diaz rested. I wanted Salah. Well, Salah would have probably got angry if he got substituted. But I wanted Elliot definitely rested. I wanted all these guys rested because we've got another important game against Newcastle on Wednesday.
Yeah. No, I think as soon as it went 3-0, I was like, yeah, let's start resting players. Not at halftime because Klopp typically doesn't do that. But I knew that I wanted as many players. I mean, basically use up all the 5 substitutions, right? And let's see some young players there. We had so many on the bench, and obviously we've not had a chance to give them a go at all. So this was the perfect opportunity to do that. Rest some legs, like you said, because now it's going to get real because it's 2 games a week. We are back in that schedule, which I think is good for us in a way because I think these players tend to work better in that sort of a cadence. So yeah, and good to see some of the youngsters come on. Budgetic again. I thought he looked. Of course, I mean, Bournemouth was pretty much beaten, but the guy is just so impressive every time. His composure on the ball, his passing range, everything is just brilliant. So Carvalho, like you mentioned, again, that's something I feel like he's been threatening to do. That specific type of goal, especially on the volley.
So close, so many times. You're right. Yeah,
against Palace, doing something very similar. So yeah, Elliot and him have been our best players, so I don't even know why anyone would complain that they are the reason why we've not gone into the market. They've literally been the shining light for us over the first 3 games of the season. So they've shown the way almost, I would say, to the senior players.
I agree with you. They absolutely have. And Carvalho again, the joy on his face. You spoke about Elliot and how he was sort of feeling the emotions more than any other youngster would, maybe not. But definitely Carvalho as well was celebrating. And did you notice the spirit between the other players and team players when they were celebrating with him? They're so happy for him. It just shows you the sign that despite what media tried to make out, that, the team's not the same and the heads have dropped and maybe there's a few, not splits, but arguments and this and that and blames. Nothing of it. We looked really focused today. It was only Bournemouth. Of course it was. It was only Bournemouth. But how many teams are going to win 9-0 in the Premier League? Everyone's going to play Bournemouth at home. Let's see how many other teams beat them 9-0. And I think you're right. They caught us at a time where we knew we were going to be really, really hungry and ruthless. But yeah, man, I really, really enjoyed it today. And let's see. Hopefully, Newcastle will be for sure a sterner team. But was there anything else, Avinash?
Yeah, I mean, on the point of celebrations, right? That's a very good point because I feel like we've not our team has not celebrated a goal yet this season because every goal we've scored has either been an equalizer or a consolation goal against Manchester United. So we basically just headed back to the halfway line. So it was great to see them actually celebrate a goal because I love it when we celebrate goals. When Virgil does that thing at the end, him and Bobby did that trademark celebration today, and all of that. I didn't realize how much I missed that. Just to see us celebrating a goal, because whenever I watch the highlights, I make it a point to see the celebrations because I just love the way they come together. There is something about this team, so that's something that was great to see. And on the final note, I know you said there's a lot of love for Arsenal. So since Bilal is here, I'd like to say I think pretty much everything's been said so far. But I'm really impressed with Mikel Arteta. I've been for a while. I mean, even after seeing that All or Nothing, I think tactically we know he's good. Because every single one of those players has said that. And, one thing with professional footballers, you can't fool them. If they know that somebody is out of their depth, even if they are young players, they know right away that, somebody's not up to it. And every single one of those players, to a man, has really praised Arteta for his tactical nous and things like that. So that part was all, I think, never in doubt. But I think what he's doing is creating a culture and a mentality, which is something that I think only Liverpool and Man City, what they've done. I mentioned this in the last call-in show as well. The ability to just churn out win after win. You just win a game and then it's on to the next. It's on to the next. That sort of mentality, that culture, he's learned from Pep. Obviously, that helps. He's, he was his assistant, so there is already he has a bit of an advantage in that sense. But I see that for me, Mikel Arteta seems the only manager capable of being able to create that mentality. Now it's up to Arsenal to back him and give him the players he needs to be able to, have the squad that he needs to be able to. Because I think playing style wise, we know he's good, like I said, tactically. So I think that's looking good for Arsenal. Let's see what they can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see. 100%.
Excellent. No, absolutely. Avinash always smashes the points, and it's always a pleasure. Avinash, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you very much for calling in.
Big up, man.
Hope we have another win on Wednesday, and we can build up some momentum. Hope to speak to you soon, my brother. Take care. Look after yourself,
man.
Bye bye. Yeah, man, a lot of Arsenal love, man. A lot of Arsenal love. Let me bring in the next caller, man. Mr. Zuberi is in the building. Let me see what mood Zuberi is in today. Mr. Zuberi, what are you saying, bro?
Hey, big up Grizz, big up Bilal.
Big you up, man.
How you guys? How well you guys said how you was doing? I just wanted to ask to be polite. Grizz, I'm calm. I'm calm. You know me. I'm not over the top. Give you a little context about the way I operate. So I was in the military, man, and more specifically the U.S. Army. My PT score, my physical training score was always like 300. But if you get 100 in each event, then you can count the extra points. So then you'll be, above 300. I never get a high five for getting 300. I only get my high fives when I'm like 325, 330, 340. So that's why I apply so much pressure, even when we're winning. But today was a good day. It's only Bournemouth. You can only beat what's in front of you. But I want to put some pressure on Arsenal, man. And Bilal, I think you're the right guy for these pressure. Because I've seen Chelsea done it in the past, top of the league, great 4-game start up there. A lot of teams sit on top of the league, first 10 games, 15 games, get Christmas, and their knees just buckle because either they don't have the depth or they just fall short before the transfer window opens up in January. Had they made it there, strengthened, it would have been good. And one of the things I want to know, based on some of the points you guys touch on, is like a Brendan Rodgers. Is it losing the players or not creating an environment where the players are like, yo, I believe in this project? Mm-hmm. Because I've seen it in the past with a lot of managers at different points in their career where they're just the go-to team. People just come in and pick the players off. And for the longest, that was Liverpool. We'll have a gem and he won't even last 2 seasons, because we don't have the right environment for them to be like, nah, I'll stay with this project until Klopp came in. And I think that's where a lot of Klopp love is. I think his love is from creating an environment where the players, they won't really leave. I mean, unless they're like a Coutinho or someone with some crazy ambition. But do you think Arteta got that? You think he's creating that? Because if he comes up 5th, I don't think that it exists where you guys are at.
Yeah, well, I agree. Like, if Arteta finished 5th this season, for example, I think a lot of people would be calling for him to leave. If I'm keeping it real, I don't think he would actually survive, to be honest, if he finished outside the top 4 this season. So there is that pressure there that you have to start progressing, because if you keep progressing, then you have that project. Okay, I can actually see you're building something. If you're going to try sign a player in the transfer window next season, if you finish in the top 4 in the Champions League, you say, look, we're literally building something. We've come from the mud. We had to rebuild the squad. We have to kick out so many players, bring in new players, bring in new faces. And now, look, we're coming back. We're coming up. So that's the progression. A team like Leicester, for example, their players right now, they probably all feel like they've outgrown Leicester to an extent. The Maddisons, the Tielemans, and Ndidis. Fofana now is going to Chelsea. These guys all feel like Leicester can't really offer them that platform that's going to push them anywhere. So that's why I think even if Brendan Rodgers, I believe, is a good tactician, he's a good manager, it's going to be hard to keep everyone together and keep everyone pulling in the same direction when the players themselves can see the club isn't going to go anywhere. In fact, it's probably only going to go down. They had their chance a few seasons ago. They were in the top 4 for most of the season. They fell out. Okay, what happens then? They just keep on slipping and slipping. So yeah, you need to avoid that problem. If you're a team that keeps on talking about project, which is the word a lot of clubs like using, Arsenal love this word, you have to keep progressing. You have to keep showing them signs, because if the moment you slip, the moment you start showing, okay, this project isn't going to plan, then that's when people's heads, like some players maybe in the team, their heads might turn, new players that you want to sign, maybe they don't want to come anymore because the project isn't going to plan. So yeah, I agree with your point 100%. There's a lot of pressure this season for Arsenal to actually deliver. Everything should be coming together this season. But as I said, I keep saying the next few days of the window, Arsenal need to cement what they've been doing, because I think they've got a chance now. It's the same thing that happened last season with Arsenal. In January, Arsenal, for me, were the favourites for top 4. But what happened in the transfer window? Aubameyang leaves, no striker comes in. Man United, the same. If they had made a few signings, maybe they could have got into the top 4, and maybe now we're having a different conversation about Man United. They let Martial go to Sevilla, they start slipping. Tottenham, though, what did they do? Kulusevski, Bentancur, they make a few additions into their team, they get that impetus and they make the top 4. So again, I feel like Arsenal are back in that position that they found themselves last January, where you've got a chance now to actually do something. In the next few days, go put the money down, go show that last bit of ambition, and just cement this good start and good summer. So yeah, that's my take on Arsenal right now, to be honest.
All right, last one for you there, Bilal. Arteta. Does it smell like a Champions League is in them at Arsenal or Premier League?
Oh, what, to win?
Yeah.
Listen, if
you mean overall, or you mean this season? Like, are you saying like if Arteta's got it
this season?
Yeah, in the future, maybe if everything goes to plan. Listen, he told Willian in 3 years we're going to win the Champions League or something when he signed him. I think that time's expired by now, but he has that ambition. Of course, Arsenal, the one trophy, obviously the club's missing is that Champions League. Arsenal won every other trophy. That's the one that keeps on eluding the club. So I think that's the ambition of the club to win that trophy one day. But I think if you ask most Arsenal fans, you'd love to see Arsenal win the Premier League one day. Then that shows, you're really doing something. So yeah, I don't know. Arteta, does he have it in him? I think we'll have to wait and see. If you look at the managers he's had influence with, like in his career, he came to Rangers when he was like 20 years old. Then he was Everton as a player. Moyes was one of his managers, gave him that like real British, English football as well, Scottish heritage in him as well, like that full get gritty and all of that education. Then comes to Arsenal, it gets that Wenger influence, that bit of that French, that football, that, the flair. And then he gets Pep. But all of these guys, you look at them in the Champions League, are they what you said called Champions League winning managers? Are they top managers? And when it comes to winning Champions League, probably not. Of course, Pep has won it. Was it 2 times, 3 times? I can't even remember now. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's too early.
Can I ask one question? Zaberi's obviously got my mind. He always does this to me. He gets my mind working, right? I'm here all sat, relaxed and chilled, and I see Zaberi and my back goes straight, and I'm like all serious because he gets me thinking. But I was going to ask you a question. If Zaberi, I know this is your time, but you don't. If I can,
no. Hey, go ahead.
This is your time. This is your time. So, which one would you prefer winning right now, Bilal? As an Arsenal fan,
yeah.
Do you want the Premier League or do you want the Champions League? If you had like a wish, like you can have one of them in the next, let's say 3 years.
Yeah.
Choose one.
I'm not gonna lie. I know it might sound mad, but I'd love to see Arsenal win the Premier League. Like for me, that would be number one. Always. Like for me, I'd always love to see my team win the league and just be the best team. Like
even though you haven't won the Champions League.
Yeah, I know. It sounds so mad. That's the thing, because you haven't won it. You want to win it, and it'll be something so special.
Hey, Grizz.
There's something about the league, man. Something about
that was my last question, Grizz.
No way. You know how I do, bro.
I was like, I thought you was gonna ask me a question. So I was like, all right, cool.
And I was gonna use your time to ask Bilal.
Yeah, but here's how I was gonna ask it though, because my answer to that question would have been, I'd rather them win the Champions League, and not because I want Arsenal to win it, because I'm rooting for Arteta, because I think there's no more successful stories out there. Like, look, you're with a first-team coach at City who never won that Champions League at City. And you're like, you know what, big man? I'm going to go do my thing over here and win it before Pep. That would be dope. That would be something I can stand by in Arteta and be like, you know what, man? The one thing they couldn't do over there, even with you, is this. And you went over here and did it. Nah, that's a boss move. So it could be one of them love stories written in the stars, the same way Klopp came and gave us the first Prem. I'm not going to lie. Some things I see him doing, he could be the guy to give you the first Champions League, But I don't know how Pep is going to take that if he's at City, because I don't know. That would be rough. But yeah, that was going to be my question, Grizz. Hey, Grizz, were you happy with every single minute of the game today? I'm not sure if you watched every single minute, but there was some little things in there I was like, needs work, because I'm about the pressure. So I'm like, needs work, but okay.
You tell me what, because I know you're obviously intimating that you wasn't happy again, because I know you wasn't happy like when we beat City, and then you said you see certain things that you didn't like, and then obviously you was proved right, because what you didn't see right obviously was shown in a bad way against Fulham. Palace, I thought we were very unlucky. It was just a moment of madness. I thought we were really good because Palace gave City a good game today as well. You can see they went 2-0 up against City, so they're not a joke. And we really like battered them even with 10 men. Man United was a shit show. It was a disaster. It was one of the worst performances I can remember in a long, long time. But that's worrying because that's 2 out of 3. Because I've also called the Fulham one of the worst performances I've seen. Today was for me original Liverpool. It's difficult. Your question is difficult to answer with a straight yes, no. Like there's always things that we can improve on, even in a 9-0 smashing of another Premier League team. But I can't find myself doing it. Not because I'm a softie. I don't know how to do it because I don't know. You tell me where you going with this.
So I'm not really going anywhere crazy because I've seen players done things in this game that we've often questioned them during other games. I see Trent more defensively aware, and I'm like, oh, so you do have that in your locker. I'm seeing not the rush pass forward. It's actually like a decent build-up. I'm seeing not even a high line because I don't know what. There's no line if the halfway line is now the line. So the high line was null and void. So I felt like for the first time in a long time, we found the keys to a low block team. So that was great. So I can see a switch there.
I always find context behind these kind of things. It's so easy to say we suffer against low block teams. But I think it's small nuances, man.
Oh, no. It's not about suffering, but for today, we unlocked them like to the point I'm looking at Bournemouth like, are they playing or they're just allowing us? Because the way we opened them up, even against other low block team, it was never this, I wouldn't say easy, but the chances were never there like that. It was always just go out, cycle it back, go across, try from the other side, and it was just kind of stale.
What was key to it, in your opinion?
It's really hard to just say it was one thing. It was a lot of things going right. The aggressiveness as far as winning the ball back, cutting out passing lanes, them not having a proper outlet also kind of worked in our favor. It was just a lot of little different things. Not a lot to improve on. I just wanted to see how you was going to respond to it. But definitely Salah needs to work on his finishing. And that's the only thing I can say bad about the day or the one takeaway. Same way I would if Trent wasn't on his defensive thing or somebody fell asleep. The chances he missed today was, I think they were harder to miss than to score some of his chances. So that was a little hard to watch. And then scoring 9 and he didn't score. I was just like, he's not going to have a good night. As much as everyone is slapping high five and, busting the champagnes and feeling, he's upset. And I feel sorry for Newcastle because if he gets to unleash his anger on him, he might just score 9 by himself. So, that's all I have. Hopefully he do score 9. It's definitely looking up, but let's hope this isn't a one-off.
It couldn't look any worse, could it? It had to look up. It was just
yeah.
Shall I tell you my only consolation? Excuse me, guys. Right, it's my show. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Shall I tell you the only consolation? I mean, Bilal, you might not understand this. You might do. But Zubero, I couldn't really enjoy and feel good about it as much as I could have if the team was better that we were playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean with that? So imagine this was Newcastle and then we played Bournemouth Wednesday. I would have preferred it that way round. Imagine this was Palace, Imagine it was West Ham, Villa. Do you know what I mean? The fact that it was Bournemouth and they're everyone's favourites to go straight back down.
Yeah.
And we buried them alive. It just takes a little bit of the gloss from me. I know you can only do what you got to do. That's the only thing. Don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I was going to add to that. I was going to say, listen, guys, Bournemouth.
I view it like this. If it was United and then Bournemouth, There's no greater weekend, you know. But yeah, that's why I'm not really over the top. The only reason why I'm enjoying this is because I think it was Klopp, you know, pre-game speech when he was like, "Yo, I apologize to the fans." I think he was talking to me directly. I swear down. I'm like, Klopp, I hear you. Thank you for the apology. Next time, put my name in there because I've been on your back even when you were on the top. So, so that's kind of what was going on. But no, I really enjoyed it. I like his pre-game. His pre-game was up. I like it. I like the players' attitude. Really nice. So, I enjoyed it up. I enjoyed it a lot. Can't complain.
Cool.
I'm just praying it's not a one-off, because if we draw the next game or lose, you know I'm coming back with that pressure.
I know you are, and I'm going to be right here.
Newcastle's a perfect test. It's a perfect test.
It's a very good test.
It's a good test. I wouldn't say perfect, but it's a good test, because if we slap him 4-0, we're still going to have to put some context on it, you know.
Yeah, but the way they play, I think it suits to see where Liverpool actually are, because I feel like the styles are actually kind of similar in a lot of ways. So it'll be very interesting to see what Liverpool can do.
100%. Zuberi, we're going to keep it moving, my brother.
Okay, always a pleasure, man. Hey, Bilal, big up, Grizz.
Take care. Bye-bye. We're going to bring in Nikhail next. Nikhail, my brother, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mr. Bilal? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good, brother. How are you?
We're all good. We're all good. Maybe
everyone should be good today. Everybody won. Yeah. Everybody won. So everyone should be good.
Exactly. We're not as good as Bilal.
Bilal is on top of the tree. Bilal can see us down. From top, he can see us down, Bilal. We're coming.
It's been a long time, huh?
Yeah, today, everyone, even the bookies are in loss. All the favorites are winning. So it's a big problem.
It's a big problem. Bilal. Sorry, Nikhail, it's mad. We're looking up and we're seeing Arsenal at the top.
I mean, it's just a start. See, just the start, you know, you cannot. If the season ends in 5 days, remember one thing, Liverpool, when we won the league after 30 years, we won it, how many games to spare? 6, 7?
Maybe more.
Won it before COVID, really.
More, whatever. So, you know, it's a long season, just early days. Listen, whatever worst could happen to Liverpool has happened right now. Okay. Worst injuries, Nunez's red card. Okay. Worse than that, what can happen? Maximum, say, it can't get worse than that. Other than that, maximum, say, Salah will get injured. That's the worst thing that can happen. Right? In spite of all that, okay, we put in a good performance today. We are coming up. So, whatever has to happen has happened. But luckily, okay, because whatever it is, we are just 5 points away from City and 7 from Arsenal, with all due respect to Arsenal. So, I mean, listen, it's just going to get better from here. Players are going to come back. Nunez will come back for the next game. Jota will come. Now, even if we don't sign anybody, say we don't sign anybody, worst case, we don't sign anybody. The players that will come, the team will only get better from here, right? So now we've got one win. Okay, it's a great win. But at the end of the day, it's Bournemouth. Let's be realistic. Okay, let's not think like, okay, we beat Man City 9-0, beat somebody. Okay, it's a great result. Good for everybody, especially the guys who were, you know, pointing fingers at certain players. Those guys came up. I'm happy for these people, because as a fan base, you know, 1-2 results, you should not point fingers saying this one did this, this one did that. Okay, Trent had a bad game against Man United. But which right back in the world will score that goal from so far out? Tell me, which right back? Okay, maybe Dani Alves in his prime could have done that. But see, we have to balance everything and then make a point, positive or negative. That's my only thing. Don't just jump the gun. Fine, we have suffered. 3 games we have suffered. But now our players are coming. Jota is coming. What's his name? What's the other guy? Konate is coming. All these players are coming. So we will get there.
Thiago, Jota, Konate, Nunez, as you said. I want to ask you a question. You know, you said a couple of players had a lot to prove or something to prove because they criticized. Who was you rooting for? Obviously, you was rooting for everyone, Liverpool. But who did you want to see have a special game? Like, you know, like I told you so, or how dare you doubt me or something. Who was the one that you was looking forward and hoping he has a good game?
See, I will tell you one thing. Fantasy football, only 0.5% of the people in the world have Harvey Elliott. And I am one of those person who has Harvey Elliott.
You told us, yeah,
Listen,
you told us.
this
I
is
remember.
statistics.
Yeah.
I'm talking statistics. Secondly, that guy plays for the club. You know, the passion, the hunger, the desire. Talent is different, but having that is more than enough. And secondly, people see, I went for the game at Crystal Palace. He played very well. Only one thing which I was a bit critical about him, I told my friend, this guy is good. He has to work on his shooting. And today,
he listened to you.
he put in a wonderful color. So, you know, listen, we need to back these players. And I was so happy for Elliot. Trust me. Elliot and Carvalho, these are two players I want to shine. Because all the other players, you know, you look at them, I feel they're already at that level of, you know, very good, excellent. All the other players. But these two players, Elliot and Carvalho, I want these people to be there. You know, if these two players click, we don't have to spend money unnecessary in the transfer window here and there, this and this, all these things. So these two players are somebody I really want to do well on a personal level. First, initially, when Trent was coming up, I always wanted Trent to do well. But Trent, I believe, has reached that level where is a pro. Like, you know, is in that legendary, excellent category. I mean, among the right backs in the world. So now these players, I want them to make that jump. That's very important. Because if we do that, I'm telling you, we're going to save a lot. And these players are playing for the club. You can see how much they want to succeed. You see Carvalho, you see even this Elliot. That is important. That just signing somebody for, you know, 100 million, 300k a week, and he's coming there and, you know, doing time pass on the ground. You know, that passion. Okay, he may have the skill. I'm not saying no. But that passion is important, you know. Without passion, what is this? It's not Liverpool's way of playing.
It's Nikhail makes a very good point, doesn't he, Bilal? Like, imagine, I always say, imagine we brought Elliot from Borussia Dortmund this summer for 40 million. People would be so happy and gassed.
Exactly. Exactly.
They'd be so happy. we bought the wonder kid from Dortmund. Imagine Carvalho wasn't 5 million. Imagine Carvalho was 26 million from Porto. Like, you guys bought Fabio Vieira.
Yeah,
and
play, but yeah.
yeah, but you get the drift.
Exactly.
How gassed were you lot?
Yeah, very excited to see him play, watching comps, everything. Everyone's getting the buzz. Yeah. 100%.
So it's always funny, isn't it, when people already have them in place at their clubs. They don't have that same passion and desire that they should have for them. They want something different, new all the time. And Nikhail makes a very good point about, you know, you can carry on buying these players, and obviously Man United have been probably the best example of this in the past, and Everton as well, two of our neighbours. You can spend money and buy players, but it doesn't buy you spirit, desire, attitude like these guys show. It's very key to have that as well as skill, like Mikhail's saying. Of course, they got, you know, there'll be talented players. You're finding that as well with your players. He's got a, you know, the all or nothing showed that he's got away with people. Yeah, 100%. and he's building this camaraderie, isn't he, and togetherness with you guys as well.
I think Nicole made a great point. You know, you need players like Liverpool, like your Elliots and Carvalho. These young players who actually want to play for the club, they'll develop. They actually give it their all. They have the spirit, the passion, everything. I think, for example, the perfect case study for this is like Chelsea Football Club, for example. They will sign how many players? Your Lukaku's, your Havertz, your Pulisic's, ZX. All of these guys don't really work out, but week in, week out, no matter if anyone wants to criticize them, I see the likes of Reece James. I see the guys like Mason Mount. I see these guys putting in the hard yards, giving it the all for that team because, you know, they feel part of that team. And you get that now when I watch Arsenal. I see the likes of Smith Rowe and I see Saka, I see Martinelli. I see these young boys all wanting to play for the team. And also another thing that I've liked to see as well, like, you know, the likes of Saliba who's come to the team, who's an Arsenal fan, or Zinchenko who's an Arsenal fan. You know, it's nice to have these kind of players who actually love the team as much as the fans love the team. So you need that 100%. You can't just be buying a team full of mercenaries, so to speak. And I think that, yeah, I think, as I said, that Chelsea example for me just rings in my head when I think about the players that they spent money on and compare it to the actual players they brought through their system and just look at the difference. So, yeah, Nico, you make a great point there, honestly.
We've got a new subscriber, Ian. He says it's his birthday today. Happy birthday from
Happy birthday, man.
Mate. Have a great time, my friend. What else, Nico? What else is on your mind today after that demolition job?
That's okay. You get only 3 points, for winning 9-0 or winning 6-0. But that's the sad part of life. But now the important thing is we've got that start. Now we need to focus on the next game. Midweek game, 3 days break. We need to focus on that. Newcastle is not going to be easy. They are a very difficult team. You see the way they are playing. They are organized. They can hit you on the counter. Stain Maxima. He's got pace, direct, and they have a little striker over there as well. So we have to be careful with Newcastle. You cannot do the same thing. We need to score early. We need to be on it. We need to show the same passion, same desire. So it's very important. But the important thing what I want to talk now is about the midfielder. Now is the time to talk. We were 9-0. After losing, anybody will say we want a midfielder. But now the thing is, what kind of midfielder would you go, Grizz? And if available, what is your pick actually right now for a midfielder? Would you go for a midfielder? And I mean, even I want a midfielder, but what would be your pick? Now after this victory.
So we done a special show last night. Me and Blue Chip. I recommend everyone go and watch that show, where we discussed the options that I've heard of, and obviously that out in the media and Twitter or whatever. I genuinely believe we will 100. I said 90% yesterday that we will get a midfielder. I'm up to 95% now that we will bring in a midfielder. And if you're asking me what type of midfielder, or are you asking me what name-wise? So if you want to throw a name at me, and I will tell you what I think of the player, as opposed to stylistically, if it's a number 6 or number 8, a box-to-box, a technical player. So I think this team, I keep changing my mind every month. You know why? You know why?
Why?
Because I'm not the expert. And so every month, when an expert doesn't know, when you're not an expert, you go with your emotion every time. So 1 week or one couple of weeks, you might think, no, we need a DM. Fabinho looks dead. Oh my God, I need a DM who's more mobile. I don't like Henderson when he plays there as well. Bring me an Ndidi or Shumani or someone who's going to marshal the defense. Then you have performances like that from Fabinho today. And then you think Henderson, number 2, amazing, job done. Bring a goal-scoring midfielder. Yeah, we need an attacking midfielder who's going to come in the end of the box. Yeah, let's go and bring an 8. This is the problem that us fans have when we get asked questions like this. What would we do? Because we don't know the game like these guys do. They don't know. We don't know their team like they do. They know the game. They know their team. They know how they want to play. Right now, this week's opinion, I would want an 8 who's got mobility, who can play in part of a pivot if needed, or at a stretch number 6 if needed, but mainly someone who can do the box-to-box role, whether it's the left side or the right side. Energy, legs, mobility. That's the 3 attributes I'm looking for. I'm not even looking for a technical demon. I'm looking for energy, durability, reliability. And obviously he's going to have a certain level of technicality because we are scouting him. Liverpool Football Club is scouting you, my brother. You're not an athlete. We're not scouting a 400-meter gold medalist, are we? We're scouting a footballer, but we're hoping that he has those attributes as well. That's how I would approach it right now, Mikhail. I think Fabinho and Henderson are okay for this season to be the 2 number 6 options. And obviously, when Thiago comes back, he can play in the pivot as well. But for me, I would love someone who's got the energy and the legs to play a box-to-box, either on the right side or the 8 side.
Grizz, I got a name for you. And I was watching him last night, Friday Night Football, Italy, Lazio versus Inter, and Milinkovic-Savic. Unbelievable. I know he's been linked to Premier League move for it feels like 7 years at this point. I feel like he's linked every single summer. It's not happened yet. I believe he's 27 years old now.
This is the key. This is key. I don't know if he's 27 or 28. I know it's only 1 year, but if he's 29, like in December, it counts as 29 in my eyes. But
27. Turns
27
28 in February. Yeah.
I used to love this guy about 3 years ago. 3-4 years ago, this guy I thought he's going to take over the world. He had everything. I thought, wow, size, power, skill, goal scoring, box to box, everything. Good feet for a big man. You know that cliche. Had it all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna confess, I haven't seen enough of him in the last 12 months. I just haven't. I've seen glimpses and highlights.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to base a judgment on that, I'm not sure. I'm probably gonna study him today. But we're not linked with him, so there's no really point. What are you wasting my time for? We wasting my dash you, man. We wasting my time.
Honestly, I'm telling you, but the Serie A is looking good, man. Obviously, the league itself is looking good.
There's a name that we spoke about. There's a name that we spoke about yesterday, Nikhail, and I'm going to bring it up. This is one of my favorite choices. Lima from Leipzig. He's an Austrian.
I know him.
Konrad Lima. He's an Austrian. He plays for Leipzig. He's a hybrid between a young James Milner and a young Jordan Henderson. He's a hybrid between them. He can pretty much do it all in midfield. High energy, high presser, technically very sound. Not amazing, but very good. Yeah. He's just like the Klopp type player. For me, everyone has their own, of course, choices. Everyone wants a Frankie de Jong. Frankie de Jong brings us to another level.
Even I want a Frankie de Jong, but the thing is, can we get a Frankie de Jong?
We can get a Frankie de Jong, but the Frankie de Jong deal is very complicated.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Lima's only got 1 year left on his deal at Leipzig as well, so you can get him for a cut price. I don't know what Bayern are doing because I thought Bayern.
The problem is Lima wants Bayern.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
But you can change his mind. I don't care.
That's why I tweeted yesterday. I said Jurgen Klopp needs to get on a Zoom call with Lima and change his mind, because if he can change his mind. And my own personal wild card favorite is Caicedo from Caicedo, or how you say his name, from Brighton.
That's how I say
it. Yeah, Caicedo. He's on very low wage. The fee will be high, but the wages will be very low. Okay. And his desire to come to us would help. That's the one I would personally think would be so good, because I just love him. I love watching him play. I've been watching for a while now, and he stepped into Bissouma's shoes like nothing. Those are my personal favorites. There's Tielemans, his agent, he's begging us to make an offer. If push came to shove, maybe I would take Tielemans, because we need a body. There's, my mind's gone blank, Sander Berge. The link is true. Whether people, that breaks people's hearts, or whether people say, no, I'd accept him. I'm just telling you what I know. The link to Sander Berge is true. We would be interested in him, but obviously there's other players ahead of him. So let's see what happens. We've got a few days to get excited. I think we'll have a new player before the next game. So let's see.
For me personally on this matter, I've seen what we have. I mean, if you leave the injuries aside, I think we are okay. If you leave the injuries aside, okay, we are okay. So for me, if any midfielder has to come in, okay, I want somebody to be an upgrade and who will move into the starting 11. So, I mean, I would rather, instead of going for somebody like, Sander Berge or Tielemans or somebody like that, I would go for the real deal. Even if it's next year, I don't mind waiting next year. I'm ready to gamble on that. A real deal, as in like Jude Bellingham, if he's the real deal, go for that marquee signing, fit in a profile well. Even Frankie de Jong, if possible. I know Frankie de Jong is complicated with all the deferred payments, blah, 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 everything. Or even Barella, if it's possible, yeah, subject to available. But I would like to go for the real deal rather than, just having another
stopgap. Yeah, just a stopgap, Yeah, I know what you mean. Like bringing a body just for the sake of a body.
For the sake, it doesn't make sense. Rather than that, we have so many players in the youth system. Promote them rather than them. Even Kyle Morton, he was last year, he had played against Spurs, I think. He was not that bad as well. So, you could get these guys there at least as a backup source. That's what, I would look at.
No, 100%. But let's see. Look, always been lovely chatting to you as always. You've cheered us up. You made us feel better.
Thank you.
And we will see what happens now in the next week or so. Yeah, less than a week now. A few days.
Yeah, we're playing on Wednesday, no? 3 days.
First
3
of
days.
Wednesday.
no?
Yeah. We will have some news on Monday about our next signing. Hopefully,
It's gonna
I
be
believe.
mad. It's gonna be mad.
Yeah,
Every
exactly.
team's
It's going to be
going
exciting.
crazy.
Oh yeah. This next week or two, next 5 days is going to be crazy for everyone.
Mhm.
There's going to be so many
Inshallah,
bids
inshallah.
flying, so many bids flying in left, right, and center for Arsenal, for Chelsea, for United,
Mhm.
Liverpool as well now. So let's see how it goes. Nikhil, pleasure.
Thank
Take
you,
care, my
thank you,
friend.
brother.
Yeah.
Have a nice
Nice
day.
talking
Enjoy.
to you, man.
Take care. Yeah,
Same to
same
you,
here, Bilal.
same to
Take
you.
care.
Yeah.
Same to you. Same to you. Jezza's not there. He's there. Okay, he is
Yeah,
there.
he's
I've been
there,
waiting
yeah.
for you. Okay, let's go. Let's bring in the next caller. Jezza, welcome to the stream, my friend. Hope you're well.
I'm all right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Mhm.
man. Hey.
I'm good. Are you, Bilal? You must be happy. That was a nice comeback. Yes,
Yeah,
I hated that.
listen.
I wanted to watch. I was on Twitter while the Arsenal game was on, and then I saw Vlahovic's free kick.
Mm.
But I didn't want to switch over the game because Arsenal were losing, and then they came back, and then the other game was over. But anyway, we picked up 3 points today, so I'm all good. I'm all good. I think you guys have one more fixture. Who are you playing next? And then after that, it's Man United, isn't it?
Arsenal playing Villa, in I think Wednesday or Tuesday. I can't remember, but yeah, they're playing Villa next, then United. So yeah, interesting run.
Okay.
You've got Villa next.
Yeah.
At
Away.
home, though.
The amount of smack I've talked about Villa, yeah, we've got to be putting them away because on some of the other shows we've been doing, I've not been rating Villa one bit. So yeah.
No. You will. You've got to think about you now before you go to. Is it obviously you go to Man United? That'll be interesting.
Yeah, we're playing at home against Villa. So yeah.
Fair enough, guys. There's nearly close to 300 of you in here, guys. Please all smash a like. Thanks. Basically, Grizz Khan says, nice message. Thank you very much from Grizz. Jezza, what's happening, man? Talk to me.
Nothing much. I caught a little bit of the Liverpool game, but obviously I was watching the Chelsea game. Look, I know I saw Matisse's reaction or his post-match review, whatever. I mean, yes, it was 10 men for like a good 65-75% of the game, but it's Chelsea at the end of the day. We still expect to win, and if we win, it's not no need to make a big hoorah. Yes, we didn't have the manager on the touchline, but it's normal chaos at Chelsea. I'm very excited. I'm happy for Sterling because regardless of his deficiencies, we all know his deficiencies in terms of technically he might not be all there. Sometimes the finishing might not be all there, but I mean the numbers don't lie, and we need that because the for the goal, Havertz plays the pass to James before he crosses in and puts it on the plate for Sterling. But if it was the other way around and Havertz was in the box, he's not going to smell that. I know Ian Wright always says, there's so many clips of him saying it's a feeling you got to get, it's a sense you got to get. Anybody that's played some kind of sport like that will know it is a feeling, and Sterling's got that. I'm excited to see because hopefully I know the Oba deal has stalled and Man United are also like dangling a feather, and we know they will give him that 2-year contract. They'll probably give him a 3-year contract with an extension, and they'll probably give him definitely match the wages, if not increase them. So I'm a bit worried about that one. But my main concern is this Gallagher situation. I don't know if it's because I'm not from England or I'm still yet to go to a game live or what it is, but you love seeing youth players come through, but like not everybody from Cobham has to make it. And unfortunately, Gallagher's in this weird situation where if he was to play a position in this team, it would be, even though I don't think right now we have the formation, but like he's a similar profile to Mount, except Mount is a lot more ticked out and a lot more polished than he is, but they're of similar ages. So for me, I mean, I have a little brother. He doesn't really watch 90 minutes, but he will play fantasy league with his friends. He's about 16. He will play fantasy league with his friends and obviously FIFA. So all of last season, he would just see the notification, Gallagher, and I'll tell him, if you actually watch the game. And now every time I come in and I pull up Gallagher, he's always like, okay, yeah, I get it.
I see what you meant. Yeah.
I see what you meant. And for me, I don't know if it's like, obviously you have your real big social media presence fans, like in any fan base. I don't know if it's because they want to stay close to the club or whatever, but they don't have to promote every single youth player that comes out of the academy. Players like this, we should really be selling. But I'm excited for Fofana. I just saw his Snapchat now. He's in his Lambo, listening to obviously some French rap song, feeling himself, and the caption or whatever you put on Snapchat is just the sun. Obviously, he's celebrating the fact that he's obviously going to get a big bag now, and he's playing for Chelsea. It's going to increase his chance for the World Cup. So I'm excited for him because I hope that officially puts to bed the fact that we'll see Reece James at right centre back now, because I know he doesn't really trust Chalobah. I mean, in the Liverpool game at home last year, amongst many games, Chalobah, he has, I wouldn't say a bozo gene. I just don't think he has a lot of experience at this level.
Say it, bozo gene. I'm going to use that from bozo gene. I'm going to make that go viral.
He's not Jelaborgi or Malang Sarr or anything. I think I'm happy to see that I heard from what I've heard and what I've read that Chelsea have blocked a move for him away, because he was looking for a move now that Fofana's coming in, and Tuchel's kind of gone no, which kind of makes sense because we let go of Malang Sarr. And I think Chalobah is still going to be a quality player for us. He's just got to fight and earn the right to play, I guess, because at the end of the day, it's Chelsea. But now I'm wondering, I'm hoping Oba comes in. I'm hoping Fofana comes in. We need a midfielder. I know you guys are having a midfield chat, but what do you think of Fabian Ruiz, Grizz? Have you seen a lot of him? I like him.
Love him. Very, very good player. I think he's pretty much nailed on to go to PSG.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he was nailed on to go to PSG about a month ago.
That's true as well. I like him. Very strong, very technically gifted, has a shot, has an eye for a pass. Commanding midfield player. Someone of the ilk that you guys could absolutely do with. So I would hate it.
But where would he fit in if he went to Chelsea? Where would he?
You would kick out Jorginho yesterday. That's me. Yeah. That's me.
My problem is I don't think Loftus-Cheek is anywhere as good as him. However, I think in terms of, again, that lovely word everyone likes to use, the profile, I think the profile is the same in terms of technical, big, strong, sulky feet, feet like a winger. However, Fabian Ruiz does offer like a shot outside the box, and he's got the Ancelotti cosign, just like Richarlison, because I don't know, I saw Richarlison's interview when he signed for Spurs, and I saw the press conference directly after he signed, Conte's press conference, and Conte was saying how obviously him and Ancelotti have a relationship, and he used Ancelotti as a reference to get Richarlison. And when Ancelotti went to Napoli, he took Fabian Ruiz. He was the one who brought Fabian Ruiz to Napoli when Ancelotti was there, and he's also Spanish. And we've always had a good contingency of Spanish players in our side, with obviously Alonso, Aspi, our captain, leader, legend, Fabregas, Torres, and the list goes on. So I'd love him, but I don't know if we're going to get a midfielder. And Ben Jacobs keeps mentioning, I know it's a lot of money, but Leao, apparently he was saying that Chelsea asked what would it take, and Milan said 120 million euros. Now, we know Bowley has money. I don't know if it's that
doesn't care about money, exactly. No, he doesn't care about money.
Now, for me, I mean, if we're able to get it done this year, then we need to do this. Otherwise, we're going to have a situation like Tchouaméni where we had it in our hands. We had Tchouaméni in our hands, and then they opted for Saul on loan. So I hope that, like, if it's something that can get done, it will get done. But with the amount of time in the window, AC Milan are also no longer interested in Ziyech, so that won't help. But yeah, I'm pretty calm. I'm just waiting for the window to shut before we know where Chelsea are. But I wanted to talk Arsenal because that's bugging me quickly.
Go for it. Why is it bugging you?
Yeah, bugging.
You know what it is? I'm a Chelsea fan, number one. Obviously, Bilal, I really wanted to ask you this. Just say higher or lower. Are you older or younger than 23? So that's my age.
That's literally my age, 23.
Okay.
So everyone's got the exclusive here, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, cool. So we've seen the same Arsenal, basically. So I grew up with Didier Drogba goal after goal against Arsenal, and then we died a little bit, and then we had Diego Costa doing the same thing. So as much as it's cool, you guys are winning. I just think the depth again. I mean, today we had a situation where I think Arteta wanted to make a tactical change, and Ketia came on, and it looked a bit funky before Saka went to the left because you didn't have that left-footed player.
Yeah.
And I think because obviously Tierney can't really do that role. If Zinni was there, then you guys would have been sorted for that tactical tweak. And then Elneny seems to have improved somewhat.
My guy there, My guy there.
He looks terrible for Egypt when we watch AFCON and stuff. But in that Arsenal team, yeah, and he's got the Wenger cosign, so there is a player in there. Since Wenger brought him in, there must be a player in there. I think he'll always be fine against like your lower opposition teams, but I know everyone's saying the big boys, but like again, if you go into Man United and for whatever reason Thomas Partey is not fit, he's gonna have to battle it out with Casemiro. Whereas Thomas Partey has been doing that in La Liga, that's not gonna phase him. You get what I mean? So but the bench looked a lot better today. I won't lie. I saw the starting lineup and the bench looked a lot better today. I saw Tomiyasu's back. Everyone's back. I'm just interested, like Matisse and I guess everybody else was saying, when it gets to Europa again, when you must play that Thursday, Sunday, I'll give Arteta credit as much as I don't back him. Like, I mean, nobody knows who Man City's assistant coach is now. He's not going to get the job. Obviously, I feel hard done by, like, obviously with Patrick Vieira. I feel like the fact that he wasn't even considered for the job is a shambles on its own. But the culture, he's definitely done the whole culture change and everything. And you can see that there's a sort of mentality because when you guys went 1-0 down, I think everybody else was like, okay, this is Arsenal, they're back. But I think we all gonna get that. I think that moment is gonna come more business end of the season because what you're gonna do when you have, let's say, semi-final Europa League, then you got a Premier League game, regardless of the opposition, that's always going to be tough. And then you got another semi-final on the Thursday. Does that mean? And then you might get a situation where let's say you play Roma in the semi or in the quarterfinals of a Europa League game. You have a must-win game where you must get 3 points against, let's say, Fulham, like today, Fulham away, and then you have your Europa League semi-final. And then let's say you have a North London derby or a game against Chelsea or a game against one of your rivals. And then does that mean Jesus is going to play all 4 of those games? Are you going to trust in Ketia with one of them? Even if the likes of Pedro Neto came in, it will be great for Saka because he's been carrying you guys. But again, is that the kind of player that you can like hang your hat on? It's good that Odegaard is coming to the party. Martinelli's coming to the party. But again, that youth, I think, like, if for some weird reason, like, if you guys, out of the blue, let's say you got, like, a Leroy Sané, where you just got one more, because you have this Saliba, who I think has the minerals. You have Jesus, who's got the minerals. Partey got them. I just think you need one more, especially in that forward area, that you can just rely your hat on. And when it's not him, when it's not this guy, we know it's going to be that guy. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, no, I think you summed it up pretty well there because that's literally been my point. I think Arsenal were just missing that wide forward on the right, and I would be of the opinion where like don't really need to spend massive money on a right winger just to rotate with Saka. Instead, for me, the massive money, let's say there's 70 million to spend, for example, you spend that in the midfield. Because the midfield for me is the biggest concern because Partey is showing time and time again that he is injury prone since he's come to Arsenal. Before he came at Atletico Madrid, the guy was injury free for years. Comes to Arsenal, typical, gets injuries here and there. Elneny is a good player and you make a good point about him. For me, I've always, I don't really criticize Elneny that much because he came from Barcelona. It's like £5 million. I feel like we got way more than £5 million out of Elneny, and he's a good guy as well. So for me, he just does his job. He's very simple. And I remember he did an interview saying that one day he was in training for Arsenal, and Arteta was going to actually let him go, but he just said, I just kept on getting everything right in training. Like Arteta just kept on seeing that this guy, he understands exactly what I mean tactically. So that's why he's been able to, despite not having the best ability, we're keeping it real, tactically and just footballing wise, he is an intelligent just person in general. So that's why he's been able to somehow navigate his position at Arsenal, despite sometimes going on loan, looking like he's going to be just let go on a free, to now getting extensions. So yeah, fair play to him. But on the point of the squad now, yeah, when it comes to Europa and Premier League, for me, I keep saying the priority for me has to be the Premier League. For me, even if you get to a semi-final of Europa, if you're gonna finish in the top four, I don't care. I feel like I'll rotate the team for the Europa League, even if it's a semi-final. I would believe in the likes of Nketiah, the likes of Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira. Surely these guys can play a Europa League game. In even if it's a semi-final. When it gets to a final now, if these guys have made it there, then it's a different discussion because you'll have time to actually rest and recuperate. Because I think this year the schedule, the fixtures, I think the squad is really important. You need the squad this year, man. So, yeah.
We just like to welcome Mr. Blue Chip in the building as well. He's decided to join us.
Yeah, sorry I barged in and rudely just came to the show.
It's okay. It's no
It's my
problem.
channel. It's my channel, so.
We're speaking about Arsenal, and Jez is a Chelsea fan, and he's spoken. Hey,
lacking a striker, maybe another forward.
I think they're lacking. Like for example, like we spoke about, if they miss Partey, and when any stepped in, but where's the young guy? Is he still there?
They're looking
Lokonga, exactly. For me, Lokonga was someone who was brought in to play. Lokonga was someone who was brought in to play maybe as a potential number 6 in the future. But watching him actually play football, and I've listened to a few interviews, not actually sure about his position. But when I watch him play, I see a number 8. I don't see a number 6. I don't see someone who's ready to play that lone 6. Yeah.
Go on, Grizz, I'll let you take this one.
Avik, of course, sends thoughts and prayers to Pakistan. Absolutely, some horrific scene to the people of Pakistan. Prayers, and it's absolutely heart destroying when you see some of the scenes and videos. It's just best wishes and thoughts and prayers going out to the people of Pakistan.
BILAL, what was the hype about Charlie Patino?
He went out on loan to. No, he's a good player. Listen, Patino is very good, and the talent I've seen from him is up there with some of the best players I've seen come out of Hayland, the academy. But physically, he's not ready for the men's game, as in like playing Premier League. But he's gone out on loan to Blackpool, and the Blackpool fans already love him. He picked up a little knock. I'm not sure if he's injured for too long in one of the games, but the Blackpool fans, from what I'm seeing, they literally love him already. So yeah.
Miguel Aziz
is one where, to be honest, I don't see him ever really making it into the first team. No, there's a lot of talk about Aziz, but I feel, maybe another loan. You never know with these players; they're so young. But Aziz is not on that level of a Patino. Patino is in that category where Smith Rowe, Saka, he's one of those who stays free from injury, is definitely going to break into the first team at some point. So it's just a matter of just being patient, let him build, let him physically develop. Because last season he played against Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup. You can see how skinny he was, how weak he was literally to play in that game. He couldn't handle it. But in the summer, I'm looking at him. He's bulked up. He's looking good. Now he's been able to get that loan move. And we'll see how it goes. Similar thing to following Balogun, who's gone out on loan to Reims in France as well.
I must interject because we have a lot of people waiting. Before we keep it moving with Jezza, back to your beloved Chelsea. I don't like the way you deflect onto Arsenal and other clubs. Talk to me about your club, man. Where are you now? Game week 4, mixed results. Obviously, last week was awful. Spurs was good. Today was not the performance, but you got the result. So it's all about, at this stage, getting the results. But I think you made a very good point. You can only judge yourselves where you are, or even your targets, when the transfer window is closed and you know what's going on in terms of what you got. What are you still waiting for in terms of players? Give me 2 positions and players. There's only a week to go now, or is there only one incoming? And then tell me if you get them, where you're going to finish.
Sure. I know online, and I saw on the Big Six, everyone was kind of confused because, like, most Chelsea fans are like,
That's not the first time. We're always confused when the Big Six. Don't worry about that.
We can't expect Chelsea to finish in the, like, to compete for the title. That's not where we were. I didn't even hop on the bandwagon when we signed Lukaku and the final jigsaw, because we'd seen it before in 2012 when we won the Champions League. Mm-hmm. Off the back of that, we brought in Oscar, we brought in Hazard, we brought in Salah, we brought in De Bruyne.
Wow.
I think Courtois might have come the same season, and we only managed to win the Europa League. We got kicked out of our Champions League group, and we went on to win the Europa League. So I didn't really hop on the bandwagon. I never really hop on yes, when the season starts, I want Chelsea to win the league. Of course I do. But with the takeover and the delay in the direction of the club, I think we can only get top four. I still think we're comfortably third. Not comfortably, but I still think we're going to get third. Let me say that.
Wow.
I still think
that actually astonishes me because
I've already,
that astonishes me because the squad that you've got, if you looked at your subs bench today, that's a title. That should be a title-winning squad. It should be. There should be no excuses for Chelsea to mount a serious title challenge this year, because look, is Thomas Tuchel's 1.5 years he's already been there now? This is second.
Yeah, this is going to be second full season.
There should be no excuses this season, to be honest.
I don't want to say no excuses, because we can clearly see that his talent ID. I mean, this Gordon thing. What the hell is that? Come on, guys. The Gordon, 60 million for Gordon, and apparently he wants to play him as one of a wing back. Okay, the wing back, but could be part of let's say the media and just clicks and stuff. But we like, you don't need to go get a winger in Gordon for 60 million. You have Hudson-Odoi right in front of you. Why didn't you make him better? There are definitely questions to be asked of Tuchel. However, not having, I mean, like I said prior, I think it was the show before last week, before the Tottenham game. And by the way, remember I told you about Tottenham, we were going to be good. Told you we'd score a set piece, and I told you Kante would have a blinder. But back to what we were talking about, Avi, the director of football bit is crucial, because everyone got sacked, and I was explaining to Grizz, the Czech wasn't supposed to go. Petr Cech wasn't supposed to go. He was supposed to remain. However, that era of Cech, Drogba, Lampard, because when Marina left, Drogba wrote and he doesn't really post on social media much, but he dropped like a dossier of how loyal he was to Marina and how good she was for the club, and it's just a big thank you. So Cech left out of his own accord. It kind of left Tuchel and Bowley, and Terry Flewers dropped a little bit of an exclusive, basically saying he spoke to a journalist, and apparently what happened with the Koulibaly thing was that they were describing who they would like to replace for Rudiger. And he said he would like someone like Koulibaly, and Bowley just went, oh, okay, cool, boom, and put the money down. Whether or not that's true, I think, okay, the Michael Edwards thing, I'm not going to get too excited about it, but apparently there isn't a relationship there. And I don't know if you've noticed, since the Michael Edwards rumors came up, the target shifted, because before it was, we want this player from that European league, we want that player from that European league. Then a good 2-3 weeks after the Edwards rumors, it was proven players that are already in the league and players that have done it before.
Let me buy in there. You're not getting Michael Edwards, and that's not from a place.
We are. I'm not saying we are. I just think it's funny how our targets moved from all the players. All our targets were outside.
I think that stems from.
And that was very Liverpool-like.
I think that stems from. Your targets have fluctuated, have sort of varied from certain style of player to a different type of player, profile of player, even though it's the same position. And that comes down to not having a structure in place, a scouting system in place, because he's come in and he's basically sacked the head of every department, basically near enough, in terms of scouting, negotiating, medical, everything. So it's going to be, it's going to be American style, come in, take over, guns blazing, trying to show I'm the new sheriff in town. And that's what he's trying to do in the transfer market. So when you do that, you're going to have targeting, Aubameyang 1 week, Rafinha another, So he's going to be there. But like Avi says, you guys have got a squad now that needs to challenge. I don't agree with Avi in terms of it's ready now, because Tuchel does deserve one more season to get his players implement his system.
Yeah. Next season, no excuse, definitely.
Next
Regardless
season
of
is
who's there.
absolutely.
They've got to get closer to the two than they did last season.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
I mean, next
absolutely.
season there is absolutely no holds barred. You need to challenge, otherwise he's under huge.
No, we need
pressure.
to win it, because it's been too long.
He's getting away with murder if next season they're still in the sort of fluctuating, because you can't criticize the likes of Arteta on one hand, Chelsea fans, and then have Tuchel and then praise him, but he's not doing it. And everyone's seeing the job Arteta's doing at Arsenal. You can't have, you can't show the hypocrisy like that. But Jezza, we've got a few people, man, that have been waiting a long time. Thank you very much, man.
Have a good week.
Take care of yourself. Look after yourself, my friend.
Man.
Always a pleasure.
Guys.
Look after yourself. Top man, Jezza, man. Always. What a gentleman he is. Avi, we've been speaking about Arsenal, man. 4 wins out of 4. Bilal's been not gloating. He's good. He's calm.
Oh, he should. Listen, it's
I'm
been
not
what,
gloating,
maybe
man.
10 years.
No, not gloating.
They showed metal today, and that was a big test today. Make no mistake about it, going 1-0 down. Have Arsenal got that bottle? And I'm not saying that you're going to challenge for the title, but have you got that metal? Have things changed under Arteta? Last season you would have crumbled, I think, even at home. This season you showed, and that spirit's there. The spirit's there. Gabriel scores the winner after making that mistake for the first goal. Saliba looks good again. He's passing the tests, the litmus test. He's passing it, and everything looked good for you guys. I'm not sure about Martinelli's. Was it a calf strain? Was it a little cramp? Was it that he came off with?
Towards the end? Oh, that's just him wasting time, man.
You reckon?
I think, he's definitely wasting time there. 100%.
Can you keep an eye on that, please, and let me know, because my FPL, I need to know this.
Leave ask my source.
Yeah, I remember one time Martinelli did that, and he was off outside the pitch, on the throwing line, and Arteta threw him onto the pitch. He's learned now.
He's looking so good. He's looking so good. He's looking so good. He looks dangerous every time the ball comes to him. Mm-hmm. He's taking the strain off Jesus, like them two between themselves. Saka's the one who's not performing at the best right now, isn't it?
Saka needs a rest, man. The minutes this guy has played is too much. That's why, yes, getting that right winger in, I understand why Arsenal fans would like it. But to be fair, I think Saka, he always makes the right decision. And one thing I like about this Saka, Jesus, and Martinelli, I see that they manage to get out of tight spaces all the time. They show that they're strong. They're not going to get bullied. So that's what I like about them. Yeah.
Do you think Neto's quite close?
No, I don't think that's quite close at all. I know the rumors have come out, and I feel like it's one of those deals where it could just happen very, very quickly because Mendes is involved. He was involved in the Fabio Vieira deal. That Fabio Vieira's release clause, I believe, was £42 million, but then Arsenal got him for 35 million. That was all because of Mendes, because he got his commission out of that. He knows that obviously he's controlling most of the players in Portugal, and same with Wolves. So if Arsenal can somehow get a deal with Mendes going and get him to force the issue with Wolves, then it's possible. But for me, I keep saying that midfielder, same as Liverpool. I feel like everyone's looking for that midfielder now. Chelsea looking for that midfielder. Man United were in the same boat as well. It's such a key position, man, in this league. If you don't have that quality to battle in the middle, you're gonna, even if you have good defenders, if you can't battle in the middle, you're gonna lose.
Wait. Let's just segue into the next caller. We've still got a few waiting to come in, man. It's been a magnificent show so far. It's been so busy. Still 300 of you in here, guys. Make sure you like the stream. Great show, guys. My MSN is right. Gabby does that all the time with time wasting. Oh, okay. Jabs is saying, okay, yeah. No, they got a few people that know the arts of the trade, the dark arts as well. Arteta's not shy with that. We've spoken Chelsea, we've spoken Arsenal, we've spoken Liverpool. Let's speak a bit of Man United, I believe. Got Michael in the house. Michael, welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. How are you? How you guys doing?
Doing good.
We're doing all right. Avi's giving you a bit of a dirty look there as soon as I mentioned Man United. Bilal's gonna give you a different look in a couple of weeks' time. You guys kick off against each other.
Next Sunday, we're coming.
Next Sunday.
We're coming.
That's gonna be tasty. Old Trafford?
It's at Old Trafford.
It's at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. We'll see.
Okay,
yeah.
Interesting. Michael, how you feeling, bro? Talk to us.
Great. Last time you talked to me, we got smacked 4-0. obviously times have changed. We beat you guys on Monday. We haven't talked since then, by the way, but it was all good. And today,
No problem. You know me, I'm ducking and diving. You know, but I'm here.
well, nah, I already talked about Liverpool on Thursday on your show for the Young Bucks. So I got all my happiness about that result. But today we played Southampton, big test. I did predict a win, but I got the result wrong. I said 2-1. We actually kept a clean sheet for the first time in like 95 years. It's about 84 years since we kept that. But it was good. But obviously the performance wasn't as good. I almost fell asleep watching the game because it was one of the most boring games I've ever watched because United just kept kicking along and then Southampton tried to do the same exact thing. So they were just trading rugby punts. That's what it felt like. But I want to gas up my center back, Lisandro Martinez. Everyone made fun of his height. But this guy, Licha, I call him the baby Vidic. He's a combination of Rio and Vidic, but he's just 5'9". He's not 6'2". But he still got that dog in him. He's locking up everyone. I'm seeing Gabriel Abganor talk all his smack on TalkSport after the game, talking about how he struggled aerially. Even though if you look at percentages, I like to use stats when they benefit me. Lisandro Martinez has won the highest percentage of aerial duels so far in the Premier League. He's at 82%. Obviously, it's a small volume of numbers. Yeah. We're still only 4 games in, but it shows that he can still win. Obviously, when he comes up against a Mitrovic, it's not going to be as easy because that guy, Bilal will tell you how that guy.
Long day.
That guy's a bully, but against Che Adams, who's a physical Scottish.
Yeah, no. He done very well. Not only Che Adams, Ariba, but he's not a very physical player. I mean, I don't even want to speak about Ariba. I think he's one of the most overrated players. I don't rate him at all. I know there's so much hype about him from Rangers, and I'm in a WhatsApp group with Conray, part of the RedFellas. That he's from the Scottish guy. He's always harping on about players from the Scottish Premier League, and I said this guy is just a dud. He was so atrocious. But listen, speak on your guy, man. Look, Varane, we know about Varane. We know the illustrious career he's had. We know the pedigree he comes with. This guy, in the last 2 games, has shown people that height isn't everything. You know? Do you think?
Don't you think he reminds you of a bit of Gabriel Heinze when he first joined? He was in the 20s. And he came at left back, and then he switched to centre back as well.
Yeah.
And he was tough as well, like a butcher type defender. Very good as well. He's very similar to him.
Go on, Michael. Are you there?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say the Argentinians, like the small guys, but they have that dog in them. Marco Rojo is another one, but Lisandro Martinez is a much better version of Marco Rojo because he's on the ball and he's much more controlled aggression. That's what I love about Lisandro Martinez. Like he's aggressive, but he also doesn't commit that many fouls. He knows how to go into a tackle, knows how to shove you, but not get committed.
I think he was brilliant at that today against Liverpool. I thought if he plays like that away from home, he's gonna get so many yellow cards and red cards. But today, he was very smart and clever in the way he was fouling. You're spot on. He was very smart, and he didn't get I don't know if he got a yellow card. I don't think he did. He didn't get a yellow card. And but Southampton are such a weird team, and I looked at their team today, and I thought, this is dead. It's like they've got a few players that are highly rated. Balakocha in centre back, that Lavia in midfield, but nothing heavy. No, they are. Like they come with high reps, but like Michael says, Man United didn't have to be good to beat them today.
But I want to say something, and this is my agenda now. Like it's not even an agenda. I think this is
no. Bring the agenda. Bring the agenda. It's time to bring an agenda. Let's do this.
Man United and referees, VAR. It's always saving Man United. Man United can't win without VAR, man. Yeah, like
we just won on Monday without VAR.
No. Listen, you guys, bro. Even that Rashford one, man, it's questionable. Was it really onside? Was it really onside? And I think that was on one side.
No, but without going into you guys like carrying on the Young Bucks beef on the call-in show, yeah. Keep your Young Bucks beef on the Young Bucks. Did you see the incident with they're talking about Avi?
Yeah, the handball.
Was it handball?
His hand, man. Come on, like. It's a handball for me.
I have a similar incident.
You know what? Me and Grizz, right? We're old school. We're old enough to be both your fathers, right? We're old school. That is not a handball in football back in the day. Now, it probably would be given, but I wouldn't be giving it. And I hate United. I despise United. I don't even know why I'm next to Michael, but hey, it seems as if he's from the States, so I'll let it be.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would give it. You're right. And the fact that after we've seen it, for me, it's handball, guys. Michael,
Yeah, with VAR, surely that's handball. With VAR, surely it's handball.
Callum Hudson-Odoi did the same thing against us in the 2021 season at Chelsea. He did the same exact thing and didn't get called. So
Yeah.
consistency is key for me. Also, when McTominay hit the arm, I feel like Che Adams kind of forced onto his arm and then also hit Che Adams' arm. It hit everyone's arm. It looked like a volleyball game. Like they were going back and forth ping pong. That's what it felt
yeah,
like.
but if it was a volleyball game, that suggests it was handball because volleyball is played with hands. Volleyball is played with hands, so that suggests it was handball.
Sometimes you get away with stuff. It's okay though.
But look, you said it was boring. I think it was perfect. Like if I was a Man United fan,
Oh, I mean, I'll take 3
I would
points.
I would want to go to Southampton after the hype of Liverpool, keep a clean sheet. That pitch looked horrible for the second game that it's been played there.
McTominay complained about it in the post pressure.
So that pitch looked horrible. The crowd looked up for it. You tucked them away. You got 3 points. That's 6 points in a week against away to Man United, away to Southampton, and home to Liverpool. You should be chuffed to bits. Looks like Ronaldo's out of there. Looks like you're.
We have to hold the memoir for Ronaldo because this guy's finished. It was a good 20-year run, but it's over now. This guy was collapsing 2 minutes into the game. He fell on his knee gave out. His brain and his knees are not functioning together. They're like on 2 different wavelengths right now. And George Mendes is pimping him around all of Europe.
Yeah.
He needs to go somewhere.
No one wants him, man. Even Sporting don't want him back.
How about Rashford? Re-emergence of Rashford? Or still doubtful?
Nah, for me, like I didn't want to play him at the number 9 because for me he can only play number 9 against you guys because you guys play such a high line. I knew Southampton were gonna play a high line against us, so they kind of play more of a low block. And Rashford with his back to goal is one of the worst footballers that you'll ever see in your life. No offense.
Oh shit!
But it's just not his strong suit. He needs to be looking towards the goal, not facing his defense. So for that, but we also have no striker because Martial wants to be injured every 2 games. Every time I get hyped about this guy, Monday he put in the cameo of his life. 2 days later, he grabbed in his Achilles. Maybe it's because he saw we have 4 games in 10 days. He wanted to run from the grind or something. I don't know. But we need a striker. We need a right winger. Anthony, I'm begging Van der Sar to commission this deal somehow, like a 5% discount, like if we're shopping at a supermarket or something. Please give me the discount because I need a right winger. Because if I see Alango is getting locked up by Janupo, who's a winger, who's playing.
Yeah, that's a bit embarrassing, to be honest.
I don't know if Trent should be embarrassed as well because Trent was getting cooked by Alango.
Michael, can I ask a question, Michael?
Yeah.
What's your realistic expectations of Man United this season? Like, in terms of your league position, where would you like them to finish? I mean, no, where do you expect them to finish? Not where you'd like them. I mean, you'd like them to be champions, but where do you think they'll finish?
2 weeks ago, I said 15th. Now we're gonna go up to 8th. Where I'm going expectation with this club. I'm not gassing myself because this club know how to burn me down as soon as I'll gas myself up like we play against the Arsenal because I want to banter rivals obviously. But honestly, forget the 8. I'd probably say 6. I think Ten Hag has shown that he needs a lot of players. I can't believe I'm saying this because I made fun of them. But we need to do an Arsenal. I'm seeing the similarities already between Ten Hag and Arteta. I don't know if you guys remember, Arteta was getting called more that he's more of a Jose manager than a Pep in his first year at Arsenal because he's playing pragmatic. But the reason for that we're seeing now is because he didn't have the players. Ten Hag right now is babysitting these players. You're seeing with De Gea, he's babysitting him. He's making De Gea kick long because he can't play out the back because he's absolutely useless at that. Ten Hag has taken the pragmatic approach and he's showing that he's adaptable to the Premier League. He knows how to adapt to get results. So until he gets his players, he's gonna have to play. Because I'm already seeing people saying, "Oh, Ten Hag is more like a Jose than a Pep." That's because we don't have any midfielders that can kick ball. We don't have any forwards that can kick ball. We have no defense. We do have a couple of defenders that can kick ball, but our goalkeeper, you can't sustain pressure on the high line without your goalkeeper being a sweeper. Let's be real. It's like rule number 1 in football. So Ten Hag will have to play the pragmatic approach, and I think that will cost us in games because today the result was good, but the performance after we scored our goal, I think we had like 10% possession the rest of the game. That cannot happen. You need to sustain pressure, otherwise it will come to bite you. And Southampton could have equalized the game in several different situations. And on another day, a better team than Southampton, like a Palace, a Brighton, will already beat us. A Fulham, not Bournemouth, obviously, they're terrible, but another Premier League team. Because in the Premier League, there are no 3 easy points. We kind of realized it this season.
Sorry, go Bilal.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask about, because you're talking about not controlling the ball and all of that, and it just brings you to that player that I feel just sums up Man United, and that is Bruno Fernandes. The guy is random. Honestly, that's a word for him. He's confusing. I don't really understand what's happening with him. Like you see him in a lot of phases of the game. It's like, okay,
I want to ask. I want to
Didn't
ask.
score a goal.
I want to ask Avi about him because Avi, very famously, had him doing a medical at Melwood at the time. You know, this is when I first got to know him.
This was
Our friendship.
going back. Was it going back 2018?
3 years, 4 years.
I had friends in Liverpool them times as well, and they were telling me Bruno was close. Like they were
Why
talking
couldn't you
to
guys
people
find
around
me? You
the
could have
club.
seen me all
Yeah.
this trouble. Oh, yeah.
Look, the Bruno at Liverpool would have been the different Bruno that we see at United. Would he have,
Really?
I think would he have notched up more numbers in terms of assists and goals like he did when he first joined United? The first 18 months, I'm not too sure. I think he would have been a more disciplined Bruno under Klopp. But I think he was, and I said to you, Grizz, before, he would have been a perfect player under Klopp. I still think he's a good player. He is a good player, but he does give away needless possession, sometimes in very dangerous positions. Last season was a bit of an off season for him, but listen, I don't think anyone flourished under Oli last season. This season under Ten Hag, a more structural, intelligent coach. You know, I hope that's not disrespecting Oli too much, but an intelligent coach like Ten Hag, who has a game plan, who has a procession and a project, I think he will play well. And you've seen it against Monday against Liverpool. I thought he was brilliant. His work rate was absolutely brilliant, Grizz, his work rate. And he had the quality to match. So, no, Bruno, I still think he's a good footballer. At Liverpool, like, I don't know who that is. We want Arsenal back, AFC back. Bruno at Liverpool would be insane. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with this. Portuguese footballer, man. Technicians. You know I just love technicians from Portugal.
You can't call Bruno a technician. That's a
No, I guess not a technician.
No. What I mean was that what our coaches, like Klopp says, there's great technicians in Portugal. But Bruno Fernandes, if he came to Liverpool, he'd be a brilliant. I mean, you'd have a much more consistent player than the one that United have seen.
Guys, I don't know if you are. I don't know if he was on the show when I was asked a question. I don't know if Michael was on it, but a lot of Man United people were asking me if you could take one player from them, and he had even started for you guys. He just joined you, and I said Eriksen, and they were like, "Whoa, this guy is so good. Oh, he's so good. He's underrated. I'm telling you, this guy is insane levels of talent. Obviously, it didn't go exactly according to plan in Inter, but I still think he won the league, right, with Conte.
Yeah, they did win the league, yeah, and final of the Europa League.
He also scored a free kick in the Coppa Italia semi-final against Milan.
This guy's intelligence, game intelligence, is wait for it. It's on Modric levels of game intelligence. This guy is, I'm telling you, man, he's such a wonderful player. You look at him and you think he hasn't got pace, he hasn't got strength, he's not quick. Why has he got so many touches of the ball everywhere on the pitch? You play him in a number 10, he'll get the most touches. You guys are playing him deep, he's getting most of the touches. You play him as an 8 on the right, he'll get most touches. 8 on the left, you get game intelligence. He done a couple of passes today, and you ain't seen Man United do this combination in seasons already. Like, I haven't seen them do this combination of passes. It's all because of Eriksen. Not because of Bruno, not because of Pogba, not because of McFred. Eriksen. This guy, and he's a free transfer.
Yeah. And his greatest trait, Grizz, is the way he creates space for himself. And it's a very hard skill to master. It's like Thiago, he can create that space, but very few and far midfielders. And the way he's adapted from a 10 to a deep line midfielder, a bit like a Philip Lahm at Bayern. You know, same height, 5'8", 5'9", maybe 5'7". He just creates that space. And when a footballer can create space for himself, he can go any direction that he wants. And yeah, I think he is a very underrated footballer, a very special footballer, a player that we were linked with when he first broke through at Ajax. Unfortunately, he went to Spurs, but yeah, no, a very good footballer. Very good footballer.
Yeah. It was an absolute bargain at the time. It was only £11 million, I remember. Eriksen at Ajax was fantastic. And yeah, what a player he is, to be honest. Like, top player, can literally, he understands the game. It's like Pirlo as well. You know, when he was younger, he was a number 10.
Good example.
Dropped way back, become a regista. And, you know, Eriksen's got that kind of same level of intelligence, 100%. On a free transfer, it was a no-brainer. And I was surprised. It's only Man United and Brentford that actually.
I don't know why.
Spurs were losing for a little bit, but then they backed out.
It could be the health stuff.
Maybe it's the health stuff. Yeah, but
they would have had to take a bit of an insurance out as well, like a separate insurance that clubs do sometimes.
Yeah, he already showed for 6 months. He was alright at Brentford. Like nothing happened. He was fine. I think Daily Blind has a similar thing as well at Ajax as well. So,
and Thomas Frank's a coach that doesn't let you just stand around. If you've got any issues, he will test your issues, my brother. Exactly. Thomas Frank is like a hard taskmaster. In this midfield, you got to run. But Michael, Michael, few days left in the transfer market. Talk to us. What's your aspirations? Obviously, you're feeling good right now. But obviously, you need to do more.
Of course.
What are you hoping for? And if your hopes come true, what are you looking at? Season finish.
So I wanted a goalkeeper, but we're gonna try and do. I wanted like a Summer, who by the way had like 20 saves today. Somehow against Bayern Munich, he put the performance of his life. Would have loved him because I don't want David De Gea in this team, but I will have to persist with him for whatever reason. The higher gods don't want me to be happy with a goalkeeper. So I will suffice for another year with David De Gea. I'm going to assume that we get Dubravka in, so he'll play the Europa League games, which I'm fine with, is what it is. Right wing, Anthony is paramount. We need a right winger. We need a left-footed right winger to be specific. I don't care if it's 120 million. I don't care if it's 150 million at this point. Get him in because we need forwards ASAP. So he needs to come in, and I think Anthony will be really good. I've been watching the comps the last couple of days. He brings excitement to me. Just like the flicks and everything. The first time I seen him do a rainbow flick, I'm like, yeah, I might see. That's how I love those.
I'm not convinced. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not convinced that he's gonna actually transition that well to the Premier League. But
he's gonna start against Arsenal and scoring one top bins. Don't worry about it. It's coming.
No, we'll see. Listen, for that kind of money, you better score a hat-trick. Honestly,
I think it's an awful lot of money. Yeah. He's definitely not. He's not even worth 60, 70, 80. The Dutch tax is unbelievable. If Ajax can recoup, I thought if Ajax got 50 million for him, that's great business. But to get 90 million for
no other club
goals in a league in a league campaign in the Dutch league as well. We're talking about. I mean, we're talking about a league where Dusan Tadic is putting up astronomical numbers in terms of assists and goals. Like he's playing, I think he scored like 30 goals the first season that he left Southampton for. Anthony, honestly, I'm not sure.
Look, look, Man United fans kill me when I do these ones, but I'm just being honest and giving my opinion. I think he's a wonderful talent. I think he's got skills to thrill, right? He's going to light up the Premier League when he does a few things, bits and bobs, and people are going to say, whoa. But his output and efficiency is going to be tested to the core. And that's where I think 90 million is crazy. And only Man United right now in this current climate would go that far. But if Michael's saying that's what they need...
Just 1 minute, Grizz. So Tadic's stats first season at Ajax, 28 goals in 34 games. And before then, he was scoring 3-4 a season for Southampton, average. And you'll pay 90 million for Anthony.
But different position, innit? Different position, man. He was playing up front.
He's still a creator. He's a number 10, Tadic. You're still going to...
It was kind of like a false 9 at times.
He played false 9 he played as a false 9 for Ajax.
They had a striker in front of him, though. He was playing more as a 10, as a floating 10, not as a 9.
Yeah.
I think the left-footed right winger is such an essential profile, especially for the forgotten position. Like, you need the left-footed right winger. Like, everyone has it. Arteta has his in soccer. He wants a Neto for backup. Xavi has the Rafinha, the Dembele. Pep has the Foden, the Mars. Arguably in the market, how many available left-footed right wingers are there?
I can't think of many.
And Anthony, if Ten Hag was not the manager, I would say fund this deal. But since Ten Hag is the manager, and Ten Hag was his manager at Ajax, and he's the one that Ten Hag made him this player that could be worth 100 million. So I'm going to back Ten Hag and think that he could do it. So Anthony needs to come. I'm taking the pie back at this point. 2 weeks ago, I said absolutely not because this guy gives me PTSD from 2015. But Martial cannot be trusted. I tried to give him so many times. Ty led me to believe that I could trust Martial, and Martial has betrayed me again.
What happened to Martial now? Hamstring again?
Achilles. I don't know where he got this Achilles injury.
If it's a serious one, that's a.
He's like Khanage, isn't he?
Yeah, in and out.
You can't get him on the pitch.
Martial even when he was fit, he's flattered to deceive. One goal.
Sad, we're still potential was not
rolling off that one goal that he scored against us since 2015. So.
He's the glue to the attack. He's like the glue to the attack. He gives us a focal point. We don't have a focal point right now. So Depay's a similar profile. Depay can even be better than him because Depay has shown that he can be a good player. So I need that. What is that? 3 signings? I would love a number 8 since I think the last time before I came in. You don't want a midfielder. Frankie De Jong's not coming. I got led disarray by the Spanish media. Gerald Romero will pay for his sins one day because what he did this summer. I promise you that. And what else? I've named names, but United aren't going to listen to me. I asked for Bruno G a year ago. They didn't listen to me. I asked for Cockray. They didn't listen to me. I asked for Ruben Neves. They didn't listen to me. I'm asking for Claudio Kone from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Put a man of the match performance today against Bayern Munich. I would love him.
I'd love him too, mate. I'd love him at Liverpool as well.
Kone's Grizz's man. Played very well today, I believe.
So good. Ragnick recommended him, but United have ripped Ragnick's recommendations into the shredder, and they
smart.
So what can I do? So we're not gonna get a midfielder, so I'm gonna have to persist with Eriksen with his pacemaker. Hopefully that he doesn't get like I'm worried for him a little bit because he does look tired. And we have 4 games in 10 days starting on Thursday, so we need to get rested.
This is where you're going to be tested. This is where we're all going to be tested. Liverpool squad, and we're talking about Arsenal having a brilliant start, but this is where they're going to get tested. For example, today, Zinchenko out, Partey out. Yeah, that's 2 key players. But they got through it. They got the win. Us, we got hella injuries. We got 9, 10 injuries. And it showed. Now we got game every 3 days until Christmas. Do you know that, guys? We got a game every 3 days until
the World Cup.
It's good for us, but not for the players. It's good for us, but not for the players, honestly.
Yeah.
But is that for every team though? Do you guys know your rotors? Have you guys got like Liverpool and City
in the Europa League?
Yeah, yes. Arsenal. I saw something that says this is the most run of fixtures since 1980 in like one block of like 10 games in a row, which are so condensed. It's never happened in like what's that, 42 years?
This is why the five sub rule is so effective. If you've got the right players,
that's why they brought in though, right? I think is that why they brought in? Do you reckon? Because of that?
Was it more to do with the World Cup or was it more to do with the COVID stuff?
COVID, congestion, and then World Cup in the winter. That's the World Cup's the main thing because that's made this season so congested. You have to. If you didn't have 5 subs now, teams would be finished. Honestly,
finished.
That's why I wanted to finish 8th place last year because we were so bad. I just wanted to finish 8th place, and I only have 1 game a week. But
wow, I'm wrong, guys. It's every 3 days till the end of the season now.
Yeah, because they got to make up the games. From that, they still got to make up games after.
As soon as they come back from the World Cup.
But there is, and we're lucky as a football club at Liverpool. We're lucky because we've got a few big players that aren't going to the World Cup. Salah, Diaz,
Robertson,
Trent might not even go if Southampton
isn't going either.
Who?
Tsimikas isn't going either. Unfortunately, I would love to.
Tsimikas, of course, yeah. That's the only thing that's keeping me going, man. We need to this is why this start has bugged me out. Ask Avi. I was saying that we need to, because that World Cup is going to affect a lot of players at Man City, man. What's the Arsenal situation with that?
With the World Cup? I'd say, if I think about it, most of the players should be going to the World Cup. You'd imagine.
Gabby's going.
The defense, Ramsdale, Gabriel, Saliba, Partey is going to be going. Odegaard's not going, obviously.
Martinelli will go.
Didn't qualify. Martinelli, you'd expect
starters.
Jesus, would you expect him to start? But Martinelli should be on the bench. You see Vinicius and Neymar, Rafinha. Now they have too many options. The Martinelli's been that 5th one that's been coming off the bench for them.
This guy is growing on me massively, Martinelli.
I still don't rate him. I know there's something about Martinelli. I have an agenda against him. I can't lie.
Go on.
He rejected his didn't he?
He had a little.
Yeah, Charles at United before he went to Arsenal. Yeah,
he did. Probably if he came to, I don't know. There's something I don't.
Apparently, he was saying that he was going to sign for United, but then he went to Arsenal and he got persuaded by them because of the London life.
The one thing I'll give him is he can't get tackled. Like it's like a FIFA glitch. Like he gets tackled, but he keeps the ball somehow.
Keeps the ball, yeah.
No, I was just gonna say sometimes he does frustrate me. Like today, before the actual goal, he messed up 2 corners, did the same thing twice. I was like, what are you doing? Sometimes his shots frustrate me, but he doesn't give up. And you have to like a player like that, man. You have to give it like a player.
He reminds me of, this is a weird example.
Don't say Dirk Kall.
No, man. What was his name? The Man United, the P. Hernandez.
Palestri.
No, man.
Palestri.
Chicharito.
Chicharito, yeah. That's what I thought.
No, Chicharito was a goal poacher.
Yeah,
he was a goal poacher. He was a goal poacher.
And his link up wasn't that great.
He ended up as a goal poacher. This guy will end up, I reckon, there. He's a flea.
Yeah, he
you
could.
see him, he just don't
No, but he's
stop.
got better ball control. He's a better dribbler. Schroeder wasn't known for his dribbling.
I don't think he's the most cleanest of dribblers. Bilal will tell you. He's like, you know how people
Yeah.
think Jota's a dribbler. He's not
No, that guy
technically
is
great.
definitely not a dribbler. No.
I think
He's
his
not a
Martinelli's
dribbler.
weird. He's not. He doesn't look great sometimes, but he'll just burst past someone. You're like, how did you do
This
that?
is my point.
Like,
This
See,
is my
one thing with
point.
me, I hold Brazilian wingers to high levels because like they're the Brazilian wingers are known to be like the top level. And when you have like a Vinicius or a Rafinha or Neymar, those are my kind of Brazilian wingers. Martinelli doesn't reflect that. Like you
But
said,
Martinelli's got he has got them skills in him. I've seen him take crazy first touches,
every
great
Brazilian
dribbles.
has some skills.
It's just
I
like he
even
has
think
looked a
Fred
little bit unorthodox. Yeah,
Andreas
just looks
Pereira is the only fake Brazilian in the world. That's the only fake
Yeah,
Brazilian in the world. Andreas
What, the one at Fulham?
Yeah, that guy's a fake Brazilian. He's Belgian.
No. We had Lucas Leiva, brother.
Yeah, he's a midfielder though. Pereira was
that guy was
attacking
Polish,
player.
man. No offense to Polish people.
Yeah, Lucas Leiva was Polish.
That was,
John sends in a super chat. Says he goes, "I'm late, but special mention for Lisandro, quality." Yeah, no doubt about it, man. We've discussed him. We bigged him up. You know, it's quite a story if he turns it around and makes a success of his career in the Premier League. I'm still a bit doubtful. I'm here to be shot down. If not, but we see how it goes. Michael, we're gonna keep it moving, man. Thank you very much, man. Is there anything else that you want to speak on?
Oh no, that's pretty much it.
Cool, man.
Good luck,
Listen,
man.
I can't say you all the best, but you take care of yourself, my friend. All right,
Yeah.
take care. Look after yourself.
yeah.
Of course, Michael is part of the Young Bucks. Don't forget to check them out on what days? Thursdays. Have you fixed the
Thursdays,
time?
man. Yes, at 7 p.m. 7
7
p.m.
p.m. on Thursdays.
Oh, you're part of the Young Bucks too?
Yeah.
No,
I've
you-
been jumping. Well, I've been jumping. Huh?
Oh, I was gonna say. I thought he's saying, "Can I be part of the Young Bucks?"
Oh, yeah.
Stadium?
Listen,
I'm as old as Grizz. Who am I going to be part of the Young Bucks?
No, can you stop playing your thing? Yeah, just cause stop. You want sympathy. Do you know who he wants, Bilal? He wants people to say, "Oh my God, really? Why do you look so good? Like, why do you look so good?" He wants sympathy. Yeah, he's doing them ones.
listen. Get them compliments in, man. Have you taken
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Wow, we've still got a full house, man, waiting to come in. My guys, we're going to be doing this for another 20 minutes or so, guys. I'm not going to be able to get everyone in. You know, so many people waiting to come in. I'm going to bring in Shri next. I believe it's his first time. Let's bring in Shri. Here we go. Yes, my brother, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Grizz. Yeah, I came last week. Spurs fan, South India.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Oh,
Yeah, Grizz,
okay,
just
okay.
excuse us for Grizz's memory, old age, catching up.
Yeah, I get
Sorry,
that.
bye, Mafi.
Yeah, no, no issues.
It's
no
okay.
issues.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You just said
I-
hold on, Shri, 1 second. You just said you're same age as me though. So सोच ले, समझ ले. Yeah.
मेरा दिमाग चलता है, ठीक है?
Yeah.
हमारा
You said-
follower, हमारा follower, तुम्हारा follower, Grizz.
Anyway, Shri, how are you, my friend? Hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm doing good, Grizz. I hope you guys are doing good too. So
We're
yeah,
good.
I don't know, man. I have like so many thoughts. Like for the last 2 days, it's not been good for me. I'm seeing like West Ham getting Paqueta, Newcastle getting Isaac, and then like I'm saying, I know we have did like good business so far, but then we haven't did something major. Like didn't bring any player like say for example we are in Champions League, but then say for example seeing Arsenal, they are bringing like Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko. They are that next certain quality level level raisers. I understand Bissouma, Richarlison are good players, but then they're not they're not that. Say for example, Richarlison is like substitute for Kane, but then you see there's like light and day difference between Kane and Richarlison. And yeah, today I was playing football. Like I got like scored 9 past. Like I'm a goalie, so I got scored 9 passes, and then I'm after I came after checking results.
You sure you wasn't the Bournemouth goalkeeper?
That's good to say, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I just I just came in after I saw the score and I was like, wow, okay, 9-0. Then I saw Man Utd win. Then I came back home watching Arsenal. Now, man, I'm just jealous of these guys. See,
But
I
do you know what, Shri? I know you're panicking. Why are you panicking? You've got Conte doesn't do these kind of buys.
Yeah, exactly.
Your manager buys for his game. And Richarlison is such a Conte player. He's such a Conte. Basuma is such a Conte player. Perisic is such a Conte player. I don't know why you're panicking already. Why do you want these? Go on.
No, it's not even about the panic. I would say it's like you're just seeing what other teams do normally, like and eventually it's like there's still, I feel like there's still something like we are not going it for that next level. So say for example, last season when we finished, we all know the major part which we needed to restructure was our defense. We needed like one another solid defender right next to Romero. Like we should have got Bastoni, someone like that.
Like but Bastoni is never going to come to you.
Yes,
you have to be realistic.
Yeah, I know we have to be realistic, but then they were like other targets. I'm saying Champions League.
Bremer, you tried to go for Bremer. He's going to go to Juve automatically. You got Langley. Langley has the pedigree. That's about the pedigree you're looking for. No, but who's going to go to Spurs?
It's a tough one for Tottenham. It's tough because
I think Sri, what it is, I think you got to remember where you guys were pre-Conte, right? You got to remember that, and us fans, we get duped. Like, yes, you had a great run towards the back end of the season. You got top 4. You need to consolidate being a top 4 team. Conte has elevated you guys up here, and he's got the best out of the players that you had last season. And you have mixed it up. You brought in Kulusevski last season, who was absolutely brilliant.
What a signing! What a signing!
Richarlison, an absolute war dog. I hate Richarlison, but I think he fits you guys well. And he's a Conte player. Højbjerg, brilliant player. Basuma, a player that I would have loved. I'm sure Bilal would have loved at Arsenal. You got 100%. Him in. Perisic, the experience of Perisic. You know what you're going to get out of him. 8, 9 out of 10. Giving his heart out, running down the channels. And he's played under Conte before. You got Jed Spence, who's yet to come in. A very astute signing from Nottingham Forest. You've got the nucleus, Christian Romero. Arguably, probably the top 5 defenders. Me and Grizz, I think, agree. Top 5 defenders in Europe right now. Eric Dyer under Conte has been good. Loris is getting better because he's got a clanger in him. 100% during the season, but he's solid. Sessegnon for the last 3-4 years wasn't even good enough for the Premiership. But somehow Conte has been able to get a tune out of him and playing him consistently. He may not be the answer, but he's playing well. He's scoring. I think he scored last week as well against Southampton. So you've got the nucleus, and I think you will challenge up until maybe November, December. And then obviously the toll of the European games, you will start falling off. And you do probably need a bigger squad. But I think it's one step at a time with Spurs and Conte.
Yeah. See, when I speak with other fans, rival fans, whatever, they say the same thing almost. You got to have one step at a time. But then you also have to understand what we have. Conte is our manager. We never know what this guy is going to do next. Say for example, hopefully it doesn't happen. But then say for example, if our season ends in a very bad way. Say for example, we don't finish in top 4, we don't win any trophies, which is normal for us. Ends in that way. I personally think I don't think Conte will stay. I think that's the reason. That's say for example, Arsenal fans or even United fans now with Ten Hag, they can be patient with them. Say for example, it's a project. You can't just achieve success with them 1 or 2 years. But then with Conte, it's literally now or never. That's the only thing because.
But he's that type of manager. He is. I know what you mean. He's not a project manager. He's not a long-term manager. He's not going to be more than 2 years there more after this. Let's just say 2-3 years. That's his limit. I know what you mean. The impatience comes while we got him, let's maximum and utilize his talent. But this is how he operates. He doesn't want your players. The ones that you want. He doesn't want them. No. I say this to every. No. I'm saying this to every fan base. I'm saying to us. I'm saying it to Bilal. Arteta, Bilal's going to say, oh, bro, I want Paqueta. I see him do bits. He doesn't care about your bits. Do you get it? Liverpool fans crying out for, I don't know, who are we crying out for?
Mateus Nunes.
Bellingham, Mateus Nunes. No, he wants Bellingham. But let's say Mateus Nunes, very good example. Mateus Nunes, he wants Mateus Nunes. Jurgen Klopp and Pep Linders don't want him. You have to trust. If it was Arteta, you can say, what's Arteta done to believe and trust the process? But people like Klopp people like Pep, people like Conte, you have no choice but to trust them. You have to, because they're the best manager you've had in your life.
Yeah. Okay.
Klopp is the best manager we've had in our life. Pep is the best manager Man City have had in their lives. So how dare we, just because we've seen YouTube clips, or I'm saying you've got multi-screen and you're watching 5-6 games of Europe every week, we know better than these guys. We have to trust them if they've shown you success. If they haven't, then you can say, yeah, what do they know? What's Arteta know? Like, you can see where the doubt comes in with Arteta fans, because they're going to say he's inexperienced. What's he doing? But even though he's building, he's winning the doubters wrong, I believe, Bilal.
Yeah, 100%. I think now opinion has definitely turned in his favor, to say the least there. But if you just want me to add on the Tottenham point, I think you make a good point, Seri. You know, like, Tottenham are in that position where even like an Arsenal, Man United, even if they don't have Champions League football, they can go sign Gabriel Jesus. Man United are in the mud, bottom of the table. They can go sign Casemiro.
Yeah,
the problem is Tottenham aren't really in that position. They can't really do that, but they have Conte, a beautiful stadium, and now they've got a very, very good squad at the same time. So you don't even need to go and sign these quote unquote level raisers. That's why I think Conte is perfect for Tottenham, because he's not looking at these flair man who are gonna come and do this nice, pretty stuff. He just wants dogs.
He's gonna, and he doesn't, and you know what? He wants to win. Like Shuri, I know what you mean, but he's gonna do what he needs to do for the now.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
for that matter, you need to trust him, because he's not looking to progress. So he's not looking to bring in a Fabio Vieira that's going to become brilliant in 2 years. He's not looking for that. He's not looking for Martinelli. You know, let's just say Martinelli as an example, or whatever. You know, he's looking for Perisic, even though Perisic's legs are going to fall off in about a year's time. He doesn't care. No, but it's true. He doesn't care. He wants him now.
He's a manager that automatically, a bit like Klopp, like they do character judgments on players when they first meet, right? Conte is the same. He's a manager that he needs to know that you're prepared to go to the trenches with him, that you're prepared to go war with him. If you're not prepared, if there's an ounce or a percentage where he thinks, no, you haven't got that skill set, then he won't sign you. He wants players that because he demands so much physically. You saw it on preseason. Harry Kane was physically vomiting when you were out in Asia or America. Like they were doing like lap runs, and they said, and Harry Kane admitted, he goes, "This is the first time that I've been through a rigorous season, and it's literally like it's exhausted me." But he's been fit. He scored in August for the first time in his career twice now, so it must be working, you know.
While we got Shri, we got a couple of Chelsea related super chats I want to bring up. Sorry, Spurs. RK says Silva is the best defender. He should only be compared to Maldini. Which Silva? Is he talking about Thiago Silva? Shut up, Gilbert. Thiago's a wonderful, wonderful centre-back. I absolutely love Thiago Silva. Absolutely love him. Then he says, this is a fallacy. Conte is the worst manager to have in a club. I'm sorry, he's the worst manager, worst football, old player signings. He cannot get through a semi-final. This is from a Chelsea fan. Would you like to respond to that, Shri?
Yeah, that was... see, the thing is, like when it comes to Spurs or a Spurs fan expectation, we can't expect to play Pep Guardiola football. See, we can't do that. We have to be, as you said, we have to be realistic at what we have. Okay, and then right now, I would say not even under Pochettino. Right now, even not even with Jose. Just right now in the Conte era, what we have, this is the most I have seen our fans desperate, or at least saying we have to win a trophy. Okay?
We understand why. Yeah, they understand why.
Because you can say for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. It's been 13 to 14 years. We can't keep going like this. We can't just go talk shit to other clubs and then we can't not win a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be the big person, you have to show you are the big club. You need to start and then I always say even in the Pochettino, he never used to regard this Carabao Cup or FA Cup. That's the one thing I loved about Pep. Every season he used to go for the Carabao Cup, set the season, so that in the remainder part he'll know that what it means to win a trophy. None of our guys, young guys or old guys or senior players, none of them know what it means to win a trophy.
Yeah, even Harry Kane hasn't won a trophy.
Just a final question, Sri, from my side. How old are you, Sri?
Oh, 23.
23. So, do you remember when one day Ramos won the League Cup for you guys or not?
I wasn't watching football.
He wasn't one, yeah, because he must have been very, very small or young.
I
know
remember
you-
that run.
you-
I remember that run.
Yeah.
I think Tottenham beat us
But
5-1. I wasn't happy about that.
If you stick with Conte, and Daniel Levy, he
Yeah.
supports Conte every summer or even in the winter transfer market, you will win a major cup.
A trophy. You will win a trophy.
No, not the league.
Guaranteed.
You win the FA Cup, you'll win the league, or you win the Champions League. Maybe not Champions League, but the league, 100%.
It has to be this season,
You
though.
support Conte. Conte needs to feel supported by the board, and he's gone at him already one time. I think the Jed Spence signing wasn't his signing, and he said that. He alluded to that as well. He goes, I didn't even ask for Jed Spence, right? But if he gets supported, Conte can do wonderful things. Like we won Arsenal on tour back. Says he can do wonderful things at Spurs.
Yeah, I was about to say that next to like the main devil is our as our own Daniel. Like, see, the one thing we always hate about him is we go to that he doesn't help us with that achieving the final step. Even under Pochettino, even under Jose, we were so close. But then I don't know which owner or which chairman sacks a manager 1 week before the cup final. I mean that was the only chance we ever had. In the last 13 to 14 years winning a trophy, and this guy goes and sacks him 1 week before the cup. So I don't know. I guess this has to be I guess it's more about now Conte threatening Levy and Levy. I guess this is the first time Levy is being under serious pressure from a manager. Even under Jose every time when he goes to an interview or whatever, he always praises Levy. Says Levy is an amazing chairman. He does the stadium and whatever. This Conte is the only person. I exactly remember the first person. He came here and said they have all the facilities, but then this is they should have all on the pitch. Okay, I mean in terms of the pitch, people.
Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking if you guys don't win with Conte,
there's no
there's no other way. There's no other. RK comes in with a super chat. He says Conte made Hazard and Willian play as left back and right back. Not quite, but I know what he means.
Tuchel as well. Tuchel has also been playing wingers at wing back. So come on, you can't just put that on Conte. Unless you're saying Sarri over Tuchel as well.
Chelsea had a revival because of Sarri. I will take Sarri before Conte. Wow. Sarri will beat Conte. You take Sarri before Conte, Avi?
I do like Maurizio Sarri. He did wonderful things at Napoli. Nearly won the Scudetto too. Serie A. No, I'll take. I don't know. It's a tough one.
No,
as an Arsenal fan, I would take Sarri.
I suppose I just love the
really?
Yeah, for the football, you can't play negative football at Arsenal, man.
Maurizio Sarri when he won the Europa League for
shit
Chelsea.
mentality, you Arsenal.
No,
shit.
What did he say?
Sorry, innit? Arsenal fan, innit? He's just so deluded.
I'm telling you, it's not as you think it's a foregone conclusion.
Foregone conclusion. I'm a winner. I'm Liverpool, man.
Maurizio Sarri works with.
Who's the most successful club?
No, but you got to remember what he's done. He did wonders at Napoli. Chelsea, right, were absolutely shy. Right, they were shy. They were going through. He wasn't getting to spend the money. Won the Europa League. That was his first ever trophy in football. If you go back to that video, it was an emotional one because he was crying, literally crying with a fag in his hand that he'd won his first ever trophy. The guy's been around, man, for a long time. And what he's doing at Lazio right now, he's doing good things, man. He's a very good coach.
You can't play Conte ball at Liverpool, though, man. Come on, Grizz.
I don't care.
Oh no, we've had God rest his soul. We've had Houllier, who was quite negative. Benitez.
I don't care. Even Benitez.
I would take Conte. If I wanted to win the league and just win the league, forget about the football, Conte.
So you're gonna go from right now, though, the context, go from Klopp to Conte. I don't know. You can't go from Klopp.
No, Sarri would be more suited to the squad, but you want the league, City. You want a good challenge for the league. You get Conte.
Conte is. And
so if you agree that Conte is the man, my advice as a brother would be don't panic. You came on very panicky in the start, saying I'm panicking. I'm watching Arsenal try to haram se. You will be fine. Trust me. I'm worried about Chelsea, Spurs. I'm telling you. I think Spurs will.
I second that.
I think Spurs are very strong.
BILAL seconds that because he's an Arsenal fan, so he's got.
I had Tottenham in third place anyway before the season.
No.
I had Chelsea out of top 4, but Tottenham were in my top 3.
Usually, like, even I didn't even like this, like since before the start of the season, almost all the pundits started overcasting this, this is the best transfer event we've ever had, like we can compete with City. I don't think they can do that, and to be honest, the one thing I always say about Tottenham is that whenever expectation is on us, we never deliver that. So yeah, that's the only. That's the only
up to you. Let's speak again in whenever you call in. Hopefully, if it's a couple of weeks or a month or so. Trust me, you will be fine. I think you're panicking for no reason, but I know the impatience. I know what you mean in terms of impatience, because this is your best chance, and you don't want to give up this chance. You're not going to get a chance to win a trophy like this ever again. Harry Kane and Kall, they want to grasp onto any chance they can to get a trophy. But Shri, it's been wonderful speaking to you. I need to wrap up. I've got 5 people waiting to jump in. I'm only going to let in possibly 1 or 2 more. Thank you very much, my friend. Look after yourself. Take care. All the best. Thank you. Man. Conte, sorry over Conte. I'm surprised with you lot, man. I don't know.
Sorry. He's sorry, bull, man. Jorginho in that Napoli team. Hamsik. Oh, Grizz, come on.
I want to enjoy football. Listen,
No
I don't even think Conte is that boring. I don't even think.
But
if you want to,
brilliant.
If you want to enjoy football, pull out your PlayStations and do your thing. Do your thing. No one's stopping you. Play your football. Pull out your PlayStation. Do what you got to do. Change your formation. Do what you got to do. Don't, please. I'm a winner. Anyway, last caller of the night. Quasi, how are you, my friend?
What's good, gentlemen?
You okay, my brother? I'm tired. I don't know about these two. I've been doing hella streams.
Let's have the smoke, Quasi. Let's have the smoke today. Come on.
Oh no, we bringing it, man. We bringing it. I mean, congratulations, Arsenal. I just want to get it out there and move on to Liverpool.
Get it out there.
Sorry, before you go, Quasi, just before you go, RK wants to make a last statement on Conte. Okay. Sarri came and made Chelsea play 5 at the back to 4 at the back. We still play with Sarri players, Kovacic and Jorginho in midfield. Conte is the worst.
This guy is scarred by Zappacosta.
I know, he's scarred. He's scarred by Conte, bro. Scarred by Conte. Yeah. Oh, Jezza comes in. Jezza comes with Sarri as an upgrade on Arteta. Thoughts, Bilal?
Listen, I think Arteta's still proven himself, so I'm not gonna even debate that. I think Sarri is a top coach, so I'm not going to.
Okay, fair enough. Quasi, the floor is yours, my brother.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. We've been saying that this thing was coming. I mean, I would say it's been coming since last season, because we used to play where we have so many chances and the ball will not touch the back of the net. I was hoping it was coming Monday at Old Trafford, but it didn't happen, and it happened today.
Why didn't it happen? Why didn't it happen, Quasi? I'm about to start on you today because you're a top red. So I want to ask you some hard questions. Why didn't it happen? Why are you so happy about it? Because it didn't happen, and they played shit, and the attitude was shit, and everything was. That was one of the worst performances I can remember. Condemn them for it.
Oh no, the whole team. I lost it. I know you know the gentleman, Jamie Phillips. He shows your show. I had to jump on his show before I went to the office because nobody would have loved me at that office.
You had to calm down.
Says hello.
You had to calm down.
I had to calm myself down a whole hour before I went to the office. The whole team. I would take maybe Allison,
Elliot,
Allison, everybody, including the coach. And I love Klopp. And maybe that's why I get so frustrated, because I love the man. I coach myself, and I bought his book and learned his tactics from Dortmund. So I was frustrated. And VVD, I always stick out for VVD. My boy always gets mad at me. He said, look at all the competition. I'm like, forget that. VVD is a different type of player. You cannot compare VVD to every center backs. That's why legends like Maldini loves him so much, because they know he's different, and the way he plays the game is different. Arsenal fan, we see that you guys are calling Saliba the next VVD, and you could see it too.
It's the best under 21 centre back in the world, Saliba, 100%.
They don't play like everybody else.
Konate says hi.
Listen, Saliba's a different ceiling.
Mute him.
No, he is.
I thought I liked Bilal.
Konate is top. I love Konate. I love Konate at Leipzig. For me, he was always.
Saliba's had 3
better
more
than
games in
Konate.
the Premiership, right?
Bro,
3 more games, and you already.
It's not about this. It's not about just Premiership.
You know what Chakia means? You've like put him in this pedestal as if he's on par with Van Dijk. Come on, man.
Ask
Easy.
the French,
Easy.
ask French football.
Easy.
Ask
Easy.
French
Come
football
on.
experts. They'll tell you. Saliba's that guy. He's gonna be that guy.
Let him play 38 games in the Premiership, then we'll see. Come on.
Yeah.
No, I do like him.
Shanti.
I'm not saying Konate is bad. I'm just saying Saliba's that one of one. Like, I wouldn't be surprised in a few years to see the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona try and come in for him and try fight for him. I think he's,
I
he's
can
of
see
this
that.
level. Yeah, so this is how much I'm rating.
Let him enjoy his football, Saliba. Let him enjoy his football. Let's not put that pressure on himself. Let's see how he goes on.
He can handle the pressure.
No,
4 games in. 4 games
guys,
in.
Arsenal fan, this is where I jump on your neck.
Yeah.
They did the same thing to Maguire. Look at the guy. This is Maguire that even Pep wanted. Look at him now. Let the man enjoy his game. That's the advice VVD gave to Maguire when he went to Man Utd. He said, enjoy your game. Now the guy wanted to be Captain British, Captain America, and then now look at it. You know, he got a 5-footer playing over him. You guys have to let your players enjoy yourself. You know,
I think they can have fun, but I'm
you
just
gotta
saying.
have fun.
This
And
guy is
remember,
so
there's going to be
special.
a downturn to this. How are you guys going to respond?
That's a different story. I'm just talking about this kid and his
Of
potential.
course, Billy, I'm not sure if you were born when you lot brought Philip Senderos, yeah? You brought him from Switzerland, thought he was going to be the next best thing since sliced bread. Absolutely. I'm going to, you're
No, but you can't compare the two. No, but you can't compare the two.
Senderos era.
They've done this before. They've had this before. They've had this influx of players that have come in and they haven't done it. Saliba, all I'm saying is let him, let him mature, let him play his game, and let's see if he can go through a 38-game season without any mistake, without any flaws. You know what I mean? They're making these silly,
he will have flaws.
Unique statistics about Van Dijk. Oh, Pepe's beaten him or he's outran him, so he's the first player after 78 games. He's got the better of Van Dijk. Come on. Let's, you know what I mean? Aramse.
We'll come back to this in 5 years.
All right, Quasi, come on, hit us with 9 today. Come on, yard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go back. I mean, the brethren wanted me to talk about Man Utd because I haven't seen him since. And yeah, it was horrible. But 9-0, it's a tell. And I wanted to talk to you, especially Grizz and especially you, Blue Chip. Imagine this team, right? We're dreaming right now. We're dreaming. Imagine this team in the midfield with Chouamini and Jude with Thiago. Because that is the dream team that Klopp wanted to build, right? So imagine this team right now with Chouamini and Jude with Thiago playing. What do you guys think the whole season would have been like?
We would get over 100 points if we had that midfield. Over 100 points if we had that midfield. But unfortunately, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be that. I mean, we can dream all day about.
We can gas. But why can we gas like that? Bilal, what do you say as a rival, as another club? When you hear Liverpool fans say, if we had Jude and Chouameni this season, we'd get over 100 points. What would your response be?
I say if I had Mbappe and Lionel Messi, I'll win the league as well, So for me, I don't know. It didn't happen yet, so I don't understand maybe why we need to talk about them guys because they're not here. But I was going to ask, I saw Henry Winter, journalist, saying Bellingham to Liverpool. Like, he's so confident, like 100%, he said. So I don't know.
Look, that was
tongue in cheek as well.
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah, that was Henry having a banter with someone on another Twitter user and sort of having a playful sort of exchange with him. Do you know what I mean? But that's happening anyway, Bilal. I've told you that a month ago, didn't I? Over a month ago.
It's going to be crazy. I think Real Madrid next year are going to be coming in as well. And they're going to be wanting to do that Chouameni, Bellingham, Camavinga.
This seems like this is an exclusive, Grizz.
Of course, I've done exclusives on my channel a long time ago. I've said I will. What will I do? I will give Omar and Bilal I will give Omar. Yeah, that's going to help, innit? Like shave my head off. Like I do that every 3 days. But Omar and Bilal will have my channel for a whole week.
Talking about Arsenal.
Alex Iwobi.
Alex Iwobi.
You have to convert.
Alex Iwobi for Omar and Bilal brought in. Bilal, tell him the player that you brought in.
FPL.
No.
He's out already. I've got Avi's guy. I got Nunes in now.
Guys, can we show some respect? Quasi is here. This is the used to. I'm gonna mute you two fuckers. All right, sorry, Quasi, go for it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Blue chip answer, you said we should gas. Even though BILAL doesn't agree that, I told him it's a dream. And it was something that Klopp was that close to making it happen. But the reason why I asked the question is because I can see the style of Klopp evolution is speed in the midfield. The issue is we don't have those players right now, and you saw it against Palace. That's why the first 25 minutes we created so many chances and we didn't score. Today we did. And the funny thing is against Palace, the first person who missed a chance, I think, was Diaz. Diaz, yeah. And today he scored. And today he I mean, I felt sorry for that right back. It was so sad, But in all, with all these Liverpool fans losing their mind, some people, top reds like us, Klopp is making us look bad because now he decided that he wants to go buy a midfielder because he listened to the FSG outers and the other side, the naysayers. But Klopp from day one said, I will go if I need one. And the time where he said he didn't need one, he had the whole team except Ox and Jota. And you saw what we did to City. So imagine if we had that team for the first 3 games by Fulham, because he had some of them, and Fulham, we were horrible. Palace would have been probably attraction. Man U would have definitely been attraction. And I'm going to say this. I said this on Jamie's show. When was the last time you guys seen Old Trafford was so silent when we scored that goal?
Yep.
I mean,
good, man.
Everyone's worried. We silenced them so much last season at Old Trafford that they walked out in the 38th minute. So we silenced them last season too, Quasi, So,
they were supposed to be the fans who were supposed to be protesting Glazers out, right? The Glazers FC people. And they were so silent. Of a goal that we scored, that we were like trash. We haven't played as worse as we haven't played like that. I mean, my new fans, I was wondering why were you guys so quiet? It was just one goal. You were still one goal up. Can you answer that for them, BILAL? Since you
listen, I don't know, man. I think you should leave Man United alone for just a little bit. They got the win. They got another win this week. I think they're still above you guys. So just wait until you play them again, unless you have you'll get the lead back 100%. You go above them in a few minutes. Yeah. So wait until then you can start, coming for them again. But yeah, honestly, as we keep saying, that midfield area is so key, especially for Klopp, the counter pressing, everything that he wants to do. You need hard runners, you need athletes, you need players who can actually hold the ball properly. Milner and Henson that day against Man United, it's just not going to work, is it? And today Bournemouth, I'll be honest, that is pretty easy test, especially an angry Liverpool.
It was a game that we needed. It was a perfect game to get 3 points, put out a statement, get some goals in, get some confidence in, and it all worked a treat. It was the perfect result for us. Now we've got to move on to Wednesday, the 31st against Newcastle. And then we've got the derby, of course, with Darwin Núñez back for that derby too.
Oh, yeah.
Everton.
And it was telling that Uncle Henry was there today.
Henry. Johnny was there with his wife. He texted me earlier on.
When the big boss comes down,
there was a video.
Either you're doing a good job or something's going wrong.
I'm not sure if there was a video that was going around. There's a guy, he says to him, John, we need a midfielder. Can you get a midfielder? And he puts his thumbs up. So read what you want into that. Hopefully we do some business before the end of the window.
Yeah, I think. I know everybody wants Frankie de Jong, which would be beautiful because it will be a stick to Manchester United. But personally, I said, for us top Reds, I'd say we needed 3 people because of how Klopp wants to play, not just because we have to have 3 people. It's because of how Klopp wants to play. That midfield hard workhorse, but it's not like he just wants a midfield workhorse. He wants a midfield workhorse who also can touch, like Thiago.
Of course.
It's not just anybody. It doesn't work.
These are the elite players. These are like
elite.
1%.
He is a stubborn coach. He's a stubborn manager. If he doesn't get it, blue chip, you appreciate this.
Yeah,
but we don't. I call myself a burger connoisseur, right? If I don't get In and Out, I'm not getting any other burger. And for those who haven't tried In and Out burger, you are missing
We don't have that. I don't have. We don't have that around here. Well,
oh man, I mean blue chip. Don't tell me you are Five Guys people. I'm a in and out. I eat it. I mean, I should get them.
In and out animal fries. Animal fries. In and out. 100%.
Oh, I'm gonna go to Napa and get some today. I'm just letting you know. But back to Klopp.
We just got one more super chat. RK is relentless in his pursuit on this Conte trail. He goes, thanks for the super chat as well, RK. Chelsea was always a counter-attack team. We became a possession team because of Sarri. Conte came and ruined Chelsea. So Tuchel is correcting the mistakes of Conte. That is why Tuchel plays 5 at the back with possession. Thank you very much.
Fair enough. No, he's got one more.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick?
Yeah, sorry, just one more. I don't know, Avi, why he's going through these. That's why I was waiting them together. Yeah. Sarri is a better coach than Conte. Sarri inherited every team from Conte and he ended in a better position. He played beautiful football. Hazard's best season was under Sarri. Fair enough. Sorry, Kwasi, that wasn't meant to interrupt you. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. Everybody was talking about Tuchel and how better he is than Klopp. Tuchel has never built a team before.
Yeah.
In Dortmund, that was Klopp's team. It was 75%, 80% Klopp's team. PSG, nobody ever built a team of PSG.
What he did at Dortmund, he stabilized Dortmund.
Right.
In terms, if they could have gone in a downward trajectory, he kept them afloat. They did try to challenge Bayern Munich, but Bayern Munich, with the riches that they have, he did win a couple of domestic cups for Dortmund, and then he went on to obviously the project at PSG, which is always a poison chalice. League titles are won there it's like the Scottish League, or it's like what German league now is. It's just a one team league.
One man league. Yeah.
Got them to the Champions League final, and that was a big achievement with those collection of players at PSG, those personalities. He did get them to the final, where they narrowly missed out to Bayern. Took over Chelsea, won the European Cup with Chelsea. Taking over a poor Frank Lampard. Who just couldn't get the best out of those players. But he used those nucleus of players, got them in the FA Cup final and the Champions League final. Won the World Club champions, right? Now they should be mounting a serious title challenge. So only time will tell whether Thomas Tuchel can build teams from scratch, or he's a manager who just comes in, uses the players that he has at his disposal, and improves.
I think he's a good coach, guys. I banter him and I banter Chelsea fans. I think he's a very good coach. But obviously I don't think he's a good manager. That's the biggest issue with him. I don't think he's a good manager. I don't think he knows how to just manage, basically. You have to, in this day and age, you have to know how to handle certain personalities, certain types of characters in different ways. I think he's got one method for all. Yeah. And so therefore you've got to be on his wavelength, otherwise you're not going to perform. And the amount of forwards and attackers he's got that he hasn't got a tune out of, I'd say it's worrying, or not worrying, but I'd say it's evident that he's.
It's weird though. It's weird. So weird because at Dortmund, then you had Aubameyang, Mkhitaryan, Dembele was there. It was looking really good. Royce.
But he brought in Dembele, right?
Yeah, Dembele came in from Stade.
Who else did he buy?
I can't even remember.
Because Aubameyang was there where Klopp was.
But that front four, I remember. Mkhitaryan had top season assists. Aubameyang won.
Mkhitaryan's best seasons were under
won the Golden Boot or whatever they call it there.
Mkhitaryan's.
Yeah, Mkhitaryan's unbelievable.
Under Tuchel.
With Tuchel, yeah. And it's weird because at PSG, also again, he had the highest win percentage, I believe, ever of any PSG manager. So that's still something. And he played a different formation. So he's someone who's tactically flexible. It's different to Klopp. Klopp has his ways and it's his way or the highway. Same with like a Pep Guardiola. Yeah. But Tuchel has shown that he is someone, different teams, different players. He is willing to tactically accommodate them. The man management point is another thing because now that's a clash of personalities. But tactically, he has shown that he can change things maybe a lot more. And that's why Chelsea are probably better in the Champions League than the Premier League. Those head-to-head clashes. When it's
they're great at cup competitions, and it's proven throughout his career, he's been a good domestic cup winner. And look, he was unlucky to lose out on the League Cup and the FA Cup against us. They only lost out on penalties. On another day, they could have won both as well. Won the Champions League. This season, I think he needs to be closer to the top two. At this rate, I'm not sure if we will get into the top two, but he needs to get closer to the top two, and they need to. If they win another cup, it'll be another good season for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reason why I asked about if he has ever built a team, when he talk about his whole managerial career, they're all identical. He comes in, helps it out. It goes up, they do well, and then it falls back down. Dortmund, if you remember those history, was just Klopp had burned them out so bad they needed somebody to just like, hey, we can't gegenpress anymore. Royce was getting injured all the time. But Chelsea right now, he has to rebuild. You got the money.
Yeah. You
can't just buy 2 or 3 players. And I know Grizz has been saying this. He's buying, they after all these links, but it doesn't make sense. And right now he's on the hot seat. You have to rebuild. You definitely have to rebuild, because look what he did to Lukaku. Although he didn't want Lukaku, but still, you have to do something. Even bringing in Aubameyang. Is Aubameyang gonna gel well with them? Although they had a good relationship when they went.
I think Aubameyang is going to be exactly what Chelsea need. That's my personal opinion. I think he's going to score so many goals at Chelsea. I don't want him to come. Yeah,
I've been saying it's a bad signing. I think it's a bad signing.
He's 33 now, Grizz. He's 32, 33 now.
No problem.
He doesn't have that Royce.
We'll see. I don't think it's a good signing.
I think
the Royce player.
If he comes now, he'll have 15 to 20 goals by the end of the season.
Ooh.
Maybe a bad with a point.
Yeah, but 15 should be minimum. That's minimum. That's not always had a good season. 15 should be minimum, Grizz.
Well, let's see if Havertz or Broja has 15, 20 goals.
I've always said Havertz isn't how Chelsea are utilising Havertz.
So that's my point. Then they've got them at the moment, innit? So he's replacing Havertz. So that's why I say it'd be a good signing.
Brings a lot of baggage. Let's just say that.
Yeah, but if anybody knows his baggage, it's Tuchel, because he's worked with him at Dortmund, and you said he had his best season under him.
It's weird though, because Tuchel, I don't think they left on best terms with Aubameyang, and also Tuchel has his thing.
Strange then
at Dortmund, yeah.
He wanted to move to Arsenal, but I think he wanted to come to the Premiership.
Yeah, he started moving a bit mad, but Tuchel as well had this thing like the Dortmund hierarchy. They didn't leave on good terms. They're not the best of friends. At PSG as well with Leonardo, that ended up Leonardo's gone now, but it ended up all crashing as well. At Chelsea, I think if Roman was still here, I'm being serious, I don't think he'd be in the job.
Think he'll be there.
I feel like it would have been gone by now. But yeah, Bowley is giving him a bit more time, and maybe this season, and he can maybe slowly build and get some trust now. Finally, I guess we'll see.
I mean, and 2 players that he had at Dortmund that he doesn't have at Chelsea, and that was Marco Reus and Mkhitaryan. And they were the ones who were like the creative spark of the team, where it helped.
Sterling and Havertz.
Sterling don't create. He
No, Sterling creates, man.
When
Sterling
he was
is
like
one of No. Sterling is one of the best chance creators in Europe. He's just not a good finisher. Sterling is, as a chance creator, he's very, very good, man. We can't just suddenly shit on every player in Chelsea and say, "Oh, he's not good. He's not good." They're just not having a good or haven't had a consistent
Sterling's
season.
class.
Sterling,
Sterling's
I'm
class.
not. See, I'm not. No, I don't think he's class. Like I don't. Think
No.
I've always. I'm funny with Sterling. Right. I'm funny with Sterling because I refuse to call him world class, and people go mad because I think his finishing is not world class. That doesn't mean he has other attributes that aren't world class. So when it comes to chance creation, his movement,
intelligence,
off the ball, I think he's elite. But I think technically and as a finisher, he's not. That's just my opinion.
That's the only thing holding him back from being like.
Just on this Sterling debate, Grizz, Quasi's got a point. I mean, he's only registered 5 league assists last season, and then the season before that, he had 4 assists.
Creation is different.
Yeah, but he's still supplying good players, though. He's supplying good players, and his chance creation, it's what is it? Bilal, you're good with stats and all these calculations. Per 90, 0.25. Is that good?
We don't know.
0.25? Does anyone know out there?
0.25.
It should be 0.5 to be like 50, close to 50%. Right?
0.25 assists. If people know what that is, but that's his overall record at Man City. 31 assists in 209 games. It's not that.
But I think he was affected by not having that striker, that focal point to play off. Because if he has that striker, even we saw with England, with the Harry Kanes there and Sterling, that's all he needs, and then he's good to go. But without that striker, that's why Pep was just leaving him out a lot of the time. So yeah,
we've got 2 super chats that we're going to get through, but we'll go through that at the end. Quasi, was there anything else, my brother?
Oh no, I mean, I wonder what happened if we end up scoring, say, 3 or 4 goals to Newcastle. Will everybody now change their tune about Liverpool? Because right now, when you look at Twitter, nobody talks about we need a midfield.
Let's do that first. Let's do that first. It's not going to be easy. Newcastle is going to be a total different game from
Saint
Bournemouth.
Maximin is going to be a problem. Man.
Isaac, Saint Maximin.
Arsenal. Arsenal strolled through Bournemouth. City strolled through Bournemouth. It was only right we stormed Bournemouth, especially after our initial performances this season. Newcastle will be a total different game.
Yeah.
God willing, we win, and then we can talk. I'm done with talking this season, Kwasi.
I agree.
I'm not feeling the squad right now in terms of the energy levels, and I've said it on a few platforms. You know, today was absolutely rejoice in what we saw today and everything.
Yeah.
But I've just got this vibe. I don't know what
I'll give them 10 games. I'll give them 10 games for me to make a concrete.
This season's going to be mental. The season's not going to be.
crazy.
It's going to be mental. It's not going to be consistent. No team's going to be consistent. If
We'll
they are,
brush aside Newcastle on Wednesday. 4-1.
no problem. No problem.
4-1.
No problem. I don't believe that. I think it's going to be a very, very tough game, nervy game, and we're going to have to bring out our A game to get 3 points. That's my opinion on it. But Kwasi, it's been a pleasure, my friend. We've been going for 3 hours, man. I'm so tired now.
You. Because of you, I'm getting a lot of turn-in on my channel. I appreciate
amazing,
it.
Amazing. Always. Go check out Quasibo TV, guys. Thank check him out. Much. Top, lovely man.
All right. See you guys.
Take care, brother.
Pick yourself up, man.
See you soon. Yeah, man. I need to read out these super chats and we out of here.
No, we can carry on.
You can carry on. I'm knackered. Oh, we said this. Have you read this one?
So, yeah, we saw read that.
Oh, yeah, Grizz, innit? Leave him out in it now.
One more. No, there's one more from him. Liverpool's 12th man says Luchito is a baller and give proper respect to Bobby. Who didn't? Did anyone not give?
Maybe you didn't speak too much about Bobby, but Bobby's class. Like when
Bobby's 100 goals, 71 assists in 309 games. Elite. He's been there since the beginning. One of Klopp's most trusted lieutenants. And yeah, Bobby is great. The third player alongside Mane and Salah to score 100 goals under Jurgen Klopp. I think that's an astonishing record. But yeah, Bobby, absolutely brilliant today. We want to see this from Bobby in big games too. That's it. RK again, brilliant. Thank you for the super chat. Churchill is like Maurizio Sarri. He's a very good tactician. He's never played 5 at the back. In his career, he did because of that useless coach of Conte. We have a 5 at the back identity. I guess in January, we will go 4 at the back. Thank you very much, RK.
Fair enough. Steve says, Red Steve says, who's a regular in the chat, he says, Grizz, how's your Yorkshire accent? I think you could get a bit part in Last of the Summer Wine with that flat cap. Can you give me a sentence to say, hold on, what's a Yorkshire accent?
I'm not
Darren Goff.
Darren Goff.
Like Joe Wainman from Leeds TV.
Yeah, but give me a sentence to say in it.
From Yorkshire, man. From Yorkshire.
Yorkshire, man.
What are you laughing at? Go on, you try one. Go on, you laugh.
Bro, I ain't got, bro, for me.
I'm from Yorkshire, man. I'm from Yorkshire.
Yorkshire.
From Yorkshire.
All I know is Steven Gerrard. That's all I can do. That's Scout. That's
what it's Scout.
I don't even know.
Gerrard. What are you like me? I'm from Steven Gerrard.
Very high, you need to get them tones right, yeah.
I'm trying to think of a famous, Darren Goff's a good example, yeah, but I haven't heard him speak in a little while. I need to practice it. Red Steve, by next week I should have a little accent sorted out. But guys, thank you very much. This has been a wonderful show. Time flies.
Sorry, man. I was late, by the way. Apologies.
No problem. We held the fort without you. So okay. But people, as you guys have noticed, as soon as Avi came in, the numbers dropped by about 100. But it is what it is, you know. I reap what I sow.
Match of the day's on. That's why.
Make sure you've all subscribed to Blue Chip TV. Make sure you guys have supported Top Football. Sorry, Top Football Show. Make sure you guys go and check out their channels. And if you haven't,
when you want to invite me, I'll invite me in it. I know I'm small time, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't invited anyone on. Listen, you guys pump up my channel, then I'll start thinking about getting people on and getting. Yeah, we'll see.
Exactly. Listen, this has been the Kall Khan Show. Wonderful effort from everyone involved, including Liverpool and Arsenal, our respective teams. We go again midweek. There'll be previews. There'll be post-match shows. There'll be RedFellas tomorrow. We'll have a comprehensive look at today's demolition job, and then we will look forward. We will have Tuesday. Oh, sugar plum. I've got the Premier League, new Premier League Unpacked show. My God, keep an eye on the socials. I'll be
Unboxed. Is it
advertising.
unboxed?
No, sir, it's not unboxed.
Okay.
Can you stop interrupting me? For fuck's sake. And then Wednesday, what we got? We got the post-match Eurostars as well. Whoa, how am I going to do this? Liverpool are playing Wednesday as well.
Transfer window day on Thursday. Transfer window day, Grizz.
Transfer window. You're
going to get your tie out, mate. Your gym white, yellow tie out.
This is 2 streams a day job for the next 3-4 days, and then Thursday's FPL. No, FPL. Young Bucks.
No. Young Bucks. The Friday's FPL, and then back Saturday again.
My God, so much to look forward to. We need our rest. Look forward to seeing you guys very soon. Take care. We